All right. And we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gravity Max live stream. Today, we are talking about astrology with my Aunt Shawn. Hello, Aunt Shawn.
Hi. Hi, Max.
How are
I
you
don't know why I'm
doing?
talking like this.
Yeah.
I have to
Thanks for being on
act like
stream.
I'm an authoritative figure to you when we know you
Yeah.
and I have the same mental capacity that mentally I'm 17, just trapped in a 38-year-old woman's body.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Thanks for
Yeah,
uh, thanks
so
for joining us on the stream today.
yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. And we're talking one of my favorite things, which I'm going to pretend I know all about.
Yep. Yeah, so Shawn is a comedian and an astrology fan. And so you can actually, I have a link to your YouTube channel in the description of this video. So that's Shawn Polofsky. So yeah, we will get started. So first, I'm just going to try and run through the plugs really fast because
Mhm.
uh, she has to leave in an hour. So, all right. So check out the Gravity Max website, gravitymaxmedia.com, and check out our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. The links to everything are in the description. Also, check out Sebastian on Instagram and Twitter, and then, of course, on YouTube. 128 Seconds is his YouTube channel. Quick videos that are 128 seconds long, sort of the short version of what we do on the live stream. So links to that in the description. Also, my second book, A Bottled Up Flame, is out on Amazon and you can get it. It's a science fiction book and it's the sequel to my first book. And the link is in the description below. All right. So now we start. Your True Destiny is what we called this episode. But yeah, it's about astrology. And astrology is a sort of like a belief system that uses like the stars and the planets to make predictions about people's lives. And so it's important to, I guess, mention that astrology isn't like it doesn't have evidence in the scientific community. Uh, like it hasn't been verified with the scientific method, but it is still really fascinating, really intricate, and it's sort of fun
Mhm.
to learn about. So,
And there's a lot to it as
yeah.
well. Like I didn't know that there was like usually what I knew before we started looking into it was that someone had like one sign, and that like they had personality traits that were based in that sign. But then when we started looking at it, or at least I found out that it's also based on the other planets in the solar system. So definitely a lot goes into it, and there's a lot of different groupings, pairings, some elemental stuff. So it gets really cool, and I think we're going to do a really good job of covering it today.
Yeah. So, shall we just get right into it?
Yeah, sure.
And I think also, what you
Yeah.
want to remind people too, Max, is though some people find astrology, you can mention the term astrology or sign to some people, and they'll laugh at that and say
Mhm.
that's silly, that's nonsense. It's universal. The whole world knows about astrology, and
Yeah,
I
yeah, that's
believe
true.
that there is some rhyme and sense to it. And
Hmm.
not everyone that you believe, that you meet, they're going to believe
Yeah.
that there is a rhyme and reason to it. But there are people that have studied this. And again, it's not something you go to college and you major in astrology. And people kind of look at it as fortune telling, or maybe misinformation of
Hmm.
somebody's character. And again, I the way I look at it, it's almost I see a generalization of
Hmm.
astrology. So by no means am I an expert, but it has been something that kind of came to my interest when I had a friend who knows a lot more about it than I do, who's very well read about it
Mm.
and had educated herself about how astrology works and all the elements that come into play. And she's kind of like my crazy friend, Leslie Dixon. And
Yeah.
she talks like this and is always like, hey, man, he acts like that because he's a Sagittarius. And so
Uh-huh.
I started asking more questions to her about, like, why do you say that? And when I started really getting into astrology, when I was out there in the dating world, which I'm not anymore because, somebody made the mistake of marrying me, sucker. And but so for all the people that I went out with, and I would sit there and I would try and figure out what they were by just the characteristics, uh, and just sitting with them and getting to know them. And so that's how I started to get more interested, and I started reading a little bit more about it. So I like the fact that you guys are just kind of grazing the surface of what astrology is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, there are
it's
definitely
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
conflicting beliefs about it, but yeah, I think it's just like fascinating to talk about, like one way or another. So,
Yeah, and I think whether people think it's all a load of crap, they do love to talk about it. People do read their horoscopes, whether they want to admit
Yeah.
it or not.
exactly.
They apply it to themselves, whether again they think it's a load of bull.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, do you have anything else to say, Sebastian?
Yeah, I think I just wanted to quickly comment on the how global it kind of is. I think that's what Shawn was kind of alluding to as well, because it started in South Asia, like India, in that region, and then now there's Eastern astrology with like the zodiac stuff, and there's Western astrology, which is more. I feel like that's kind of more what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's really a really global thing. Like you can find it in a lot of different countries, and I think it's also been around for a really long time. If you look at very old evidence of astrology, and I just think that speaks to that it definitely could have some value if you want to give it that value.
Yeah.
Well, you also, which it's interesting that you brought that up, Sebastian, because, and I just learned this year by watching, there was a show on Netflix, and I believe, Indian matchmaking.
My mom watches that. Yeah.
It was just this kind of a documentary style series about matchmaking in India and arranged marriages. And the first thing they look at, which, and one of my best friends is Indian, and we never even talked about this. Maybe it's because maybe she didn't even know because she's very Americanized, but we had discussed, or what I watched was before they even arrange the marriage, doesn't matter the line of family you come from, what matters first that they look at in the Indian culture is their astrological chart. They break down their charts to see if they are compatible with that person and their chart. And if they find that they're not compatible just by their stars, the planets in the chart alone, it's over. Wow. It doesn't even move to the people meeting.
That's really
they
fascinating.
have specialists in India that they sit down, and that's what they do before they arrange the marriages, that they like literally pay money and sit down, and a little Indian man breaks it down and is like, whatever this person, whatever comprises their chart, and then that's how they move forward.
Huh. Yeah, that's really fascinating. But yeah, so
let's move into the astrological signs. Can't talk today.
Yeah. So the astrological signs that people are most familiar with is the one related to the position of the sun when you were born. And that, of course, is related to the calendar year. So it has set times of like based on your birthday, essentially. But it's also applies to different planets as well, if you are to look into it more deeply, which we'll get to later. But yeah, so it's pretty much just based on the position of the planetary or, just celestial body in the sky when you were born. So that's what the astrology signs, how they're
sun, so the sun sign, in basic terms, when someone says, what sign are you? You know, it's the day you were born and the month. So that's how the sun sign works. There's only so many days in that sun sign. So for like, per se, I'm a Leo. I believe the July, I want to say 23rd, I could be wrong, is when it starts. And
July 22nd.
July 22nd, and then I believe it goes to August maybe 22nd or the 23rd.
Yeah.
And that in that time is you are a Leo. So that is just if someone asks you, hey, what sign are you? It's that basic, those days in between it falls when you were born. And
Yep.
whatever your birth date falls into, that is your sun sign.
Yeah. So let's start. The first one that we'll discuss is Aries. Of course, some people use the last two as the first two because they are for January and February. But I started with Aries because the original astrology, like with the Babylonians, is they started with Aries because that was when the vernal equinox was. So Aries, if you are born between March 21st and April 19th, you are in Aries. And it's this constellation, and it's called the Ram. So what personality types would you find within Aries, and Shawn?
Oh, Aries. I'm going to tell you right now. If Clark Kent Superman was a sign, he would be an Aries.
Okay.
Aries, the Ram. And why are they the Ram? Because they are, no one is going to stop them from doing what they need to do. And
they're
going to keep going and do what they need to get done, especially to save the day. They are the person saving the damsel in distress. They are the hero. They want to do what's right. They want to come to your rescue. So superheroes, if you're a superhero, you've got to be an Aries. Now, there are difference between signs, the difference between men and women Aries. So just know that with every sign, men and women, you'll see some basic characteristics, but when it comes to the sexes, they're a little different.
Okay.
So the man, it's, the Aries think they're the best looking man in every room. No matter how, if they're unattractive, it doesn't matter. They walk into the room and they go, no one's better than me.
Okay.
But they are a lot of fun, and they're fire, and they're dynamic people. Now, the Aries woman, the big trait that I've always recognized about Aries women is Aries women only has a bunch of male friends. Like they're not as close with other women as they are with men. So it's, again, kind of like that superhero, I can protect you. It's got a little more of a masculine trait to them.
Interesting. Yeah, it says the Aries on this website. They're the horoscope.com website. It says they're very competitive, loyal, smart, impulsive, and yeah, so I think you covered that pretty well. Also, in the top right, Shawn, you mentioned fire. So the astrological signs, there are 4 classical elements, fire, earth, water, and air. And so each astrological sign is associated with one of those. So you have 3 for each element. So we'll talk about that more as we get into more of these and talk about them more. But yeah, so...
Shawn, would you say that you like people that are Aries, like on the whole?
I do. Again, I am a Leo, and they always say the most compatible sign for a Leo is an Aries. They always say that would be my number 1 partner. Then I dated very few of them. Unfortunately, I would have liked to met more, but since they're Superman, they're probably looking for the ultimate woman because they think they're so dynamic. But I've always enjoyed the Aries being, and I don't really have anything bad to say about the Aries, but I can notice I can see an Aries woman really fast, again, because they're always surrounded. They don't really have a lot of female friends, and I always find that fascinating because I am a female, and though I have a lot of friends, most of them are women and gay men, so I don't think I would fall under the Aries sign at all.
Yeah, that's really interesting because Leo is another of the fire astrological signs. So I think there's actually something where they're sort of related, like the groupings
You'll
based
see
on
a lot
element.
where they pair. Fire seems to get paired mostly with fire because I guess that's all that can handle each other. We're pretty big.
Hmm.
The fire signs are very big personalities, very big.
Interesting.
So I know we're going to get to that later, but they are the biggest.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, so let's go to the next one. So the next one is Taurus, April 20th to May 21st, and that is my astrological sign.
Sure
Uh,
is.
Yep. And so Taurus is interesting. Taurus is supposed to be like stubborn, and I guess, well, stubborn, hard to sort of convince, and very determined. And so I don't know. That's what I remember because I feel like that applies to me. Not to be egotistical or anything, but I just sort of remember that about Taurus. Um, yeah, so I'm on the website again. So it's a smart, ambitious, and trustworthy. Taurus is the anchor of the zodiac. Amazing friends, colleagues, and partners. Taurians value honesty above all else and are proud that their personal relationships tend to be drama-free. Yeah, I feel like that applies to me. I like things to be fairly calm, like not, oh, running out of time. So this is just a Zoom problem. I'll send you a new link once we run
Oh,
out of time by
they
email,
really
okay?
did get us with the Zoom.
Yeah, yeah, we only have free Zoom. So I will email you a new link once we run out of time, all
All
right?
right, yeah.
But yeah, so I like things to be sort of stable, I guess, and uh, you know, just sort of stay the course. So that's interesting.
I wanted to tell you, Max, because Taurus, again, as we talk about elements, there's fire and then there's earth. So maybe we can cover this as we go
Yeah.
along. The Taurus falls under earth. Why? Earth is stability. You're not going to rock the boat. Fire's going to rock your boat all day long because we're going to get in your face. We're dramatic people. Earth, they want to keep things level-headed. The Taurus is a level-headed person. What represents you is the bull. You are the bull, but no one, the bull is not going to stop for
Mhm.
anyone. The bull is going to get the job done, and they're going to do it no matter what. Nothing is going to stop them. Also, with the bull is because, and that's why there's, it's the stubbornness of the bull. They're just, they're not usually going to listen. And but they can be pragmatic, but in the end, they're going to come back to what they've set their mind on. And that's how it's going to be. So if you want to, my Aunt Judy is a Taurus, for example, loving, the most wonderful woman. You know Aunt Judy,
Yeah.
but Aunt Judy, you want to pay the check, you're at dinner, you grab the check, you pay it. Not only have you given the card to the waitress, they have already run the check that has been done. Aunt Judy will not just fight you, she will get up, she will make the waitress reverse the check and pay it herself. She will not
Wow.
leave until she is done. That is how the Taurus works. The Taurus also is truth serum. There's no one who's going to be more, the honesty they are not good at lying because they never lie. They just write to the truth. They are not going to mince words. They may not say it how you want. They're not, I'm going to sugarcoat all day long. Someone says, hey, do I look fat in these jeans? No, you look great. You are amazing. I don't know. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I think about that. You know what? The Taurus will say, not your best look. Put on another pair. They'll straight out say it. And they'll try and do it with gravitas. They will. But you want to trust someone? The Taurus.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
really
definitely
fascinating.
get that for Max. I feel like
Yeah.
he can be very honest and straightforward and a little blunt, but
Hmm.
I think it's really great. I think that this could be speaking to why we have so many projects is because you get very
Yeah.
determined at completing one thing and you want to just
Hmm.
move in a direction and nothing's going to stop you from moving in that direction. And like here we
Yeah.
are on the Gravity Max live stream. So I
Yeah, I guess
think,
that's true.
yeah, there is definitely something to that.
That's really interesting. But there's also I feel a negative aspect to that, and that's when I'm not interested in something, it's very hard for me to actually do it. So when there's something for like school or something, say like a project, and it's like I'm not that into it, it's very hard to force myself to actually like complete the project. So it's interesting that it kind of goes two ways there. But yeah, so let's go to the next one. Let's go to Gemini.
How much time do we have left on the Zoom?
We have
6 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right.
So we'll do Gemini, and then I'll get the new Zoom going. All right. So Gemini is May 21st to June 21st. And yeah, so what can you tell us about Gemini, Shawn?
Oh, Gemini. God bless the Gemini. You know, Gemini falls under air. That is air sign. And air represents, as you know, the earth is kind of like the level-headed people. And then you've got fire, which are usually the big and dramatic. And then you have air, which is that talky. They talk a lot. And Gemini has a bad rap. Let's just say there are two signs that have incredibly bad raps. The first one that will tell you they have the worst rap is the Scorpio. When you hear the word Scorpio, people only think that someone's really dirty and that they're gonna sting you, and then they're never gonna look at you again. So that's the bad rap. You know, when someone says, "Oh, what are you?" and they say, "I'm a Scorpio," people are like, "Oh, that's what," and then they get real tired of that reaction. So the Scorpio gets a bad rap. The other bad rap is the Gemini. The Gemini, why? Because Gemini is, I think what represents the Gemini are the twins. Why? Because they're two different people. That's the characteristic that's associated with the Gemini. You don't know who you're going to get. So they always say that the Gemini, it's like, are you going to get this nice person, or are you going to get the deceitful side of this person? Who is a Gemini? The most famous Gemini of them all, our standing president, Trump. Not for long, and I'm happy to say it, but that is your representation. Are you going to get the person you thought was a wheeler and dealer, fun to watch on TV? Or are you going to get the crazy maniac that says, hey, what's science? Go ahead, go out, live your life. Sure, drink Clorox. Like, what? We thought maybe you might be an educated man who runs businesses, but okay. So you've got somebody who is a little all over the place. And so you don't know when you're with a Gemini, who am I dealing with here? I personally, Geminis, I've always found to be a lot of fun. Do you trust them? I don't know. You know who you can't wrong? They're very vengeful people is usually what I've found. The men more than the women. Don't have a lot of Gemini female friends. The ones I have, I love. One of my best friends is a Gemini that, oh yeah, he will, he'll stick a shiv in your neck when you're not looking. He's mad at you.
Wow.
So that's how it works.
Wow.
So
our friend Michael, everyone at home,
Michael.
you're gonna know him as Jam. He is a Gemini.
Interesting.
And I think Zach was a Taurus.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's interesting.
But
too.
with Jam, I can definitely kind of see how that little all over the place attitude, because he can pick a stance and then he can kind of shift it on you, you know, when you don't expect it. It's like you always think that he's one way, and then all of a sudden you say something, and then he makes a comment, and you're like, oh wait, but do you stand this way? It's like I kind of get that from, but he's an awesome person. He's really fun to talk to.
They're fun. They're really fun people.
Fun.
Another thing I think, and I don't know if I'm making this up, there's about 3 signs that there's 3 or 4 signs that rotate in the amount of serial killers. And I think Gemini,
I know what you're talking about.
The Gemini was most similar for a while. Most of all the major known serial killers, they said the sign that most serial killers that had existed were Geminis. And I think now it's Cancer it's gone to, but it's like Gemini, Cancer, and Pisces.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
you
I'm
have to
seeing
look that up. I
Gemini,
think it changed
Sagittarius, and
recently.
Pisces. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad. Okay. I think it had just recently changed to Cancer. I don't know. I
Oh,
was reading
that's great.
something recently, but Gemini's, I think it was like I don't know if Ted Bundy was a Gemini, but you can look up because they're switched. They play to be
Ted
this other
Bundy is a
person, and then they're
Sagittarius, apparently.
yes,
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
wrong about that.
Yeah.
That's interesting because like the sort of two-faced you were saying sort of nature is sort of required to be a serial killer because they have to sort of be like a lot of the serial killers seem like normal people until they start killing people.
They're not till they're killing you.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're about to run out of time here with the Zoom. So I will send you guys a new Zoom link, but does that wrap it up for Gemini?
I think that's a pretty good summary.
It sure does. It wraps it up for both of them.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them. All right, so I'll end this meeting and then I'll send you guys a new link, okay?
All right.
All right.
All right. So it's just me talking to you guys now until we join that new link. I'm really liking this episode so far. I think this unexpectedly fits really perfectly into this season, which is red season, which is intense season. I think you can get really intense with some of these, like Geminis being serial killers and stuff. So I'm really having fun. I hope you guys are too. I haven't been reading chat, by the way. We'll read chat when I rejoin this, but now I gotta go to my email and look for Zoom from Max. Here it is.
Sebastian is back. Let me make sure that Shawn, I emailed it to her. I will also text it to her.
All right. I was just saying that we could take the time to read the chat because it looks like we have a decent amount.
Oh, we have quite a bit of chat.
We also have 7 people viewing. So hello everyone. Thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. I think it's just a ton of chat from Barry Elise, who is actually a friend of Shawn's. We also have Daniel the Manual, who says Taki.
I do like the Takis. Oh, don't tell Shawn that I'm a Cancer. I want to hear what she says about Cancers before she knows that I'm a Cancer.
True, that makes sense. All right. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see how bad she insults you, right?
Yeah, I want to ask her, like, do you like people that are Cancers?
Uh-huh.
She's gonna be like, nah, they can go to hell.
Yep. Okay, cool. She's here. She says her internet was acting up. No problem at all. Let's see. All right, she's joining now. Hey, Shawn. Yeah, no problem with the internet. Don't worry about it. So glad you're back. And yeah, let's just go right ahead with Cancer. So the Cancer sign are people born from June 22nd to July 22nd. And yeah, it's the crab, and it's the first one that's water, I believe. Yeah, it's the first one that's water. So what do you have to say about Cancers?
Oh, I have so much to say about Cancers, and they are the crab, and they got that name for a reason. Cancer is part of the water sign. There are a couple water signs. There's Cancer, there's Pisces, and I believe, is it Gemini? Why am I blanking? No, Gemini's Aries.
Scorpio.
Sorry. People seem to think they seem to think Aquarius is part of the water sign. It's because it's Aquarius and has to deal with water. And you always, compare that. But it's the Cancer. I'm married to one, so I should know them very well. And Cancers are water signs in general are usually emotional. They're sensitive. They're delicate. Cancer men are very different from Cancer women. Cancer men love to be at home, their home bodies. They want to be close to their mother. They love their sleep. They need to eat. So if you don't feed a Cancer and you deprive them of sleep, so if they're hangry and they haven't slept, stay away from that crab because they become very, very crabby. They do have a heart. Cancer men love children. They are the ultimate dad. They're so good with them. Uncle Derek, my brother's a Cancer, and they're very sweet people. They can be quiet. They're very quiet, but they're very observant. They're watching what's going on in a room. And on their own, they can be super, super funny. They also have this kind of memory. It's almost like they see something or hear something once and they're parrots. They watch a movie once, they've absorbed it, they've watched an episode of Seinfeld. If they see something, especially if it's funny, they remember and they can repeat it word by word. They've got these super memories, which is it's just fun to watch. I always give my husband a hard time. I call him the Brazilian hack because he'll hear me say something once or he'll see me do something on stage. He memorizes it, and then later he'll present it to a group like he came up with it. And they're like, oh my gosh, you're so funny. And I'm like, that's stolen and that's mine. And then he goes, it's my joke now. It's my joke. So they're very sensitive, loving, good people. Again, you want to feed them. They love their sleep. They love their naps. They need that. And as long as they're about the home, the quarantine, it's a Cancer's best life. They're at home. This is where they love to be. Very sensitive, kind, good people, and they've got a good sense of humor.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes.
They also, I'll say with the Cancer, which you won't see coming because they're the quiet individual, there is a little bit of an anger that they hold inside them, and it takes a lot for them to express themselves, and they wait, they hold. They're not going to communicate stuff with you right away because in their mind, they're sensitive and they're processing what's happening. They're kind of like they can be like a big giant man baby. So they hold it in. And when it's time to let it go, you want to step back from the Cancer. When they get super, super, super mad, a Cancer's hidden rage is it's not like any other. You don't see it coming from that quiet, silent type.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I'm a Cancer, and I think you hit it pretty. Got hit the nail on the head there.
Yep.
With
So don't piss off Sebastian.
Yep.
Especially with the hangry part. I didn't eat anything until 1:30 today because I was working, and like people were trying to talk to me, and I was like, I cannot hold a conversation with you. I need to get to the fridge. I can't. So I definitely get that. And
sleep.
yeah, I slept all right, which made me feel a little better. But sleep is very important to me, so I feel like that's very accurate. And especially with the being at home thing, I feel like I really do like being at home, but I also like going into another place and making myself feel comfortable in there, so that also becomes kind of like a home. Like when I'm at my best when I'm in a comfortable place, and I think that is very. I think you nailed it with that. About me being
especially like your mother near just you love that embodiment of maybe what the womb is. Cancer men are usually very close to their mothers, and the Cancer women tends to kind of cry. They're very emotional. The men they tend to hold it inside more than cry and show it, but they do it by holding in their emotions, as the women will let it out more.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of that was very accurate, especially about like that's what I've heard the most from my friends that are into astrology is that I tell them my birthday. They're like, "Oh, you're a Cancer. You got to be like really sensitive is the number one thing that they say about that. But about me being a big man baby, I think that's also very accurate because at times I do feel like a big man baby, even though I'm only 16. But yeah, I
It
think
would
that's
make you that T-shirt, big
yeah,
man, baby.
big man baby. I like it. But yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. I've never um, really looked at it like I sometimes I do look at my horoscope. Usually when I'm with one of my astrology friends, and I'll look it up. And for that day, I'll try and keep it in the back of my head to kind of think on. Like at the end of the day, I'll be like, did that actually give me an accurate representation? And I think it's more like of a guideline for that day. It's like here's what you kind of like want to expect, but I also feel like it's not set in stone with what's going to happen for that day. It's more like here's what may happen, and you can take steps to prevent it, or you can also take steps to put yourself in the best possible position for it. So,
That's interesting.
yeah, me personally, looking at cancer type stuff earlier, I wouldn't think that I really fit well into the cancer thing because I didn't feel like I don't really show my emotions a lot. But then when I started reading more on it, and it was that like the cancer meant they internalize it, I kind of resonated with that. So it's looking at it, yeah.
And Sebastian, how much do you love water? Because Cancer, because they are the water signs, Cancers usually love longer baths. They love
Yeah.
the ocean. They can't wait to get into the pool. And that brings them peace. The Cancer, the Pisces, and the Scorpio, they usually really love water. And again, falls under the water sign. And you can't say like you can, oh, that's a generalization. Everyone loves water. Well, you put me near water and I might like detonate.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
want to
that's
be in
true.
the water. I don't want to get my hair wet. I'm a sun sign. I'd like to rather look fabulous under a big umbrella with nice sunglasses and a cocktail in my hat in my that almost sounded like in my ass, in my hand. So, that it's a difference when my husband sees water. Most cancers, when they gravitate to it, and
Yeah.
they feel like they're almost inside a womb, and it's holding them and embracing them, and they love water.
Yeah, and that I feel like for me sometimes that could cause some issues because I do really like to swim and I do like the beach and going in pools and stuff like that. But I also am terrified of like the open ocean because of the creatures in there. We've hit on
Yeah.
this a couple of times through this season as we've talked about different creatures and different phobias
Yep.
and just the idea of like massive creatures in the ocean and how unknown it is kind of wigs me out. But the thing is that I'm still pretty drawn to water, so I will still go swimming in the ocean even while being a little like trepidatious of it. Like just a couple of months ago, me and Brendan and a bunch of other of our friends just went on a boat and we boated out decently far away. Like we could still see the shore and everything, but then we just jumped into the open water. We were just swimming around in the salt water and stuff. Little terrifying, but I still wanted to do it, and I still had fun. So, but sometimes it does cause
Yeah.
issues for me because of the conflicting things there.
And again, once we get into this a little bit more, there's components to every sign. You're not just your sun sign. There are many
Mm-hmm.
other signs that all together, and planets compose who you are. So that might, in whatever else that, we'd have to do your real chart to see time, and
Yeah.
there's many elements that play into that. But that's what balance out your little bit more fearful side, and there would be another sign that could relate to that a little bit better.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think that
So
does it for Cancer.
yeah.
We'll move on to the next thing.
Yeah. So now we've got Leo, and so that is Shawn's sign, and that's also my mom's sign. And so
We're the best.
yeah, yeah, you two definitely have some pretty similar personalities, I would say. So yeah, just take it away.
Well, see, and that's very stereotypical. You didn't even have to say, like a Leo will always yell out, we're the best. Because why? Leos tend, they're that fire sign. We're performers. We're the boss. We're very bossy. The number one thing they'll tell you about the Leo, we're egotistical, which is some form of fashion. I can see that, but I think for me, I am a people person, and I'm not self-absorbed about myself and think I'm this only person on the earth. They are the leaders. You've got Obama, August 4th, those, a lot of dynamic, massive people. Madonna, Steve Martin, Magic Johnson, real big names. They're like the superstar. And again, they are fun. They've got a sense of humor, big sense of humor. But again, we can dish it out. Boy, can we dish it. But when it comes to taking it, forget it. Don't you throw it back at me, because I'm going to be sensitive and I'm going to be hurt and I'm going to act out. Now, Leos, you're not going to find a sign more loyal than the Leo. We will walk through fire. I meet you once, you're nice to me, great. You need a bone marrow, I'm a match, fine. Here it is. That's the type of person I am. I don't lose friends easily, and if I have lost you, then. But if that's the case, again, we are loyal, we will give. You cross us, we're almost like the Scorpio, which has the reputation. You cross us, bye, peace out. Not going to hear from me. But once you've met me, I'll give you the shirt off my back. And the Leos, again, fun, funny, dynamic, but we're bossy. We're also known as the diva, the J-Los, the Ben Afflecks, which I don't know if he's a diva. He's just kind of a hot mess right now. But we are the divas. It is, if you want to say Leo women, and they can be very demanding. I don't want to be that person. There's a lot of balance to me that I hope keeps me from being that person that's, when I go into my dressing room, I'd like white rose petals, and I would like green M&Ms only, and a crudité platter, but with no broccoli. And that's the traits that you would see from that diva type Leo woman. But they're fun to have in a room. You'll never be short of conversation. We're dramatic. That's, you're not going to get a quiet Leo. If there is a quiet Leo in the room, then something's up. Then they're sick. Then there's somebody holding them hostage. And again, the Leo men tend different from the Leo woman. I think the Leo women are a little more giving, especially when it comes to love, than Leo men tend to be more selfish.
Interesting.
And we're known for our hair. We're the lion. So it's all about the mane. It's all about our hair. So if you see someone with fantastic hair and you're like, wow, that guy's got a great head of hair, or you see a woman with just fantastic hair, that's a Leo. That's the pride. If my hair goes down, no matter where I go, if I entertain in a war zone, I will get up 2 hours early to do my hair. If my hair goes down, then everyone will suffer around me. And that is first and most important. It's always about the her.
Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned the lion, Leo the lion. Makes me think of like Gryffindor from Harry Potter. But yeah, so yeah.
I think that does it for Leo.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Do I know any Leos? Looking at these dates, I'm trying to think.
You do now.
Oh yeah, besides Shawn.
Lucky. We're very humble too. Very humble.
Yeah, no, but I think that Leo's being a fire sign definitely makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think we can move on to Virgo.
Yeah. All right. So Virgo is August 23rd until September 22nd, and it's another Earth sign. So yeah, what do you think about Virgos?
Virgo is my top two least favorite signs.
Everyone that's
Ooh.
into astrology says that. Like all of my astrology friends, I like when I start going through them, I'm like, which ones are the good ones? Which one are the bad ones? The first thing out of their mouth, if it's not Scorpio, is Virgo. You know, they always have to hate on the Virgo.
Well, I will tell you. I'll tell you when we get to my other least favorite sign.
Mm.
Why is the Virgo my one of my least favorite signs? Because when you do my chart, my planets, I must have about 8 planets in Virgo. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Virgos have an excellent trait. And I was just having this conversation with someone today who's married to a Virgo, and I had to explain why their OCD is kind of out of control. Because if there is somebody to have OCD, it's either going to be a Libra, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. Virgos, why? Because they're very organized people. They are the list makers, the list. They are going to get it done as well. And if they don't see physical lists on pieces of paper or in their phone, they've got it in their head. They're always devising a list, an organizational skill. So if you want to organize a house or organize your life and you're looking at practicality, then turn to a Virgo, because they are practical. They are earth. Remember, they're level-headed people. They're gonna keep it practical. They're not gonna be the risk takers. They never will do what a Leo's going to do. They're going to weigh their options. They're going to be practical. Virgos, also the know-it-all. No one knows more than the Virgo. Virgos are ruled, and every sign, by the way, has an erogenous zone in there that controls them. The Virgo is the brain. Their erogenous zone is the brain. So what is going to stimulate them intellectually? And again, they are the thinkers, but they also, no one knows more than the Virgo. So try and tell a Virgo something. No, you're wrong. I know more about that. And they may not, that it may not be their expertise, but they will act like it is. And they will have so much advice to give, but they're not going to hear what you're saying because, again, they are the know-it-all. So I have a little problem with the Virgo and the know-it-all. No one knows more than them. Another thing that's stuck with the Virgo, the practicality usually equals cheap. The Virgo man is cheap. Cheap AF. They are cheap. They hold their money. They count their pennies. They're cutting their coupons. Now, and we want to immerse ourselves in it. And the Virgo is going, not so fast. Now, the Virgo woman is different from the Virgo man. They're not as cheap. My sister is a Virgo, and Erin is a Virgo, and Erin, extremely generous. But then again, I think Erin, whatever her planets and what surrounds her, she's got something else in her that makes her extremely giving and generous. So when I put the cheap, I'm going to put it on the Virgo man. PU, done with, step away from me. I'm not going to get along with you.
Interesting. I feel like you've described a few people I know, but I don't know their birthdays. So if I ask you your birthday in the next few days, maybe I'm telling you something, right? So yeah, just for the interest of time, let's move on to Libra.
Sure.
So Libra, what do you think about Libra, and Shawn?
Libra, what represents the sign for the Libra? Because the Libra is a air sign. Also, no one talks more than the Libra. Libras talk all the time. Talk, talk, talk. The only thing that talks more than a Libra is a Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. But Libras love to talk. Libras, what represents them is the balance. It's like the way, I forget what the scales.
Yeah, the scales.
What represents the Libra. And why are they the scales? Because they want balance, and they have a hard time getting that balance. And so when you present Libra with a dilemma, they're not just going to give you an answer. The Virgo will tell you exactly. They'll go, okay, this is what I think, and this is the only way to think. The Libra will go, well, let's see. Should you move to a new place. Well, yes, there's mold in your house, but it'll be expensive to move. And maybe you could just get someone to remediate the mold in your house. And you do love where you live, but oh, wouldn't it be nice to get rid of all that stuff you have and change? And oh, it's a better neighborhood. They're going to find pros and cons each way. So when you ask a Libra, they're really bad sometimes at making decisions. It's not bad. It's hard for them. It's physically hard. Hey, do you want to go to, what movie would you like to see? Do you want to see, Raiders of the Lost Ark, or would you like to see Terms of Endearment? And oh, I don't know. I can't. What restaurant? Don't ask a Libra where they want to eat. You choose. You choose. You choose. Libras are very aesthetic too. They love things to look good. Boy, designers are Libras. Musicians are Libras. And they love things. They like some high quality stuff. And even if the room, because they're usually organized people, and even if a Libra and they might be kind of messy on the outside, go to their closet. You will see color coordinated. That might be the only organization you see, but their closets and their drawers. Also a sign that also tends to have OCD quite a bit. But they dream, they're artistic, and they are so generous. The Libra is so generous. And I'd have to say my favorite sign.
Huh, cool. All right. Yeah, so next is the Scorpio. So what do you think about Scorpios?
Scorpio is also one of my favorite signs, believe it or not. I know they get the bad rap because the Scorpio is controlled. Their erogenous zone is actually their private parts. And for the Leo, our erogenous zone is our spine. It's our back. It's our backbone. So if you meet like your mom probably likes her back scratched. Scorpios like something else. And they are about their privates. They are controlled by their privates. They're thinking they're the dirty bird. You think that's what they're all about. But Scorpio is a very intense sign. And though they are the water sign, they like to be alone too. They like to be in their cave. They are okay with traveling alone, being alone. Most musicians, I think, are Scorpios because they're intense. There's an intensity to a Scorpio. A Scorpio man more than to a woman. I again find Scorpio women in general. Most of my girlfriends are Scorpios. They are dynamic people. Again, they are also, I find, the most resilient. They can face any type of adversity, and most of my Scorpio girlfriends have faced things like I have never seen in my lifetime, over and over. Like you could write an Oprah book of the month about what these people have faced. And not many people could get back up from that. And I feel like they are the ones faced most with adversity, and they are the most resilient. They get back up, they recreate themselves, they build from whatever, they rise from the ashes, and they move on and they push back. And if I was to have a female child, I'd want her to be a Scorpio. Yes, the Scorpios have, if you burn them once, forget it, you're dead. It's like in the Jewish religion, if someone's dead to them, like in the movie Jazz Singer, which is a real old reference, they rip their shirts. You're dead to me. The Scorpio, goodbye. You're on the blacklist, and you're on the blacklist forever.
Huh.
Well, yeah, I would say that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Having dated a Scorpio, that blacklist thing is 100% accurate.
You're on the blacklist now?
I am on the blacklist.
All right.
Yeah, there's an intensity, definitely. If you can watch, if you can make yourself, I know who I'm talking to here, but if you can force yourself to sit down and watch The Bachelor or watch The Bachelorette, per se, and you can watch how the guys react, I could tell you right away who's the Scorpio by the intensity of a guy is just so super intense, or he breaks out, oh, let me sing you a song. You're like, oh, here comes this. It's a very Scorpio move, but the intensity is how I would explain the Scorpio.
All right.
Next up.
Yeah, next up is the Sagittarius, another fire symbol.
Yep, the fire symbols, the Leo, the Aries, the Sagittarius. Sagittariuses are crazy as all hell. Man, are they nuts. Another talker. They love to talk. My mom was a Sagittarius. They are fun, fun, fun. But they, man, they can go off. And, but they are like, it's kind of like watching a roller coaster. It's like being on a roller coaster a little bit because, and you kind of don't know what you're going to get with the Sagittarius because they are so dramatic, and there's no one who's more of a victim than the Sagittarius because, and they're very verbose about it. Woe is me. Did you know what happened to me? Oh, I'm a victim. Can you believe he broke up with me? And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to bring it into my next relationship. And oh, did I tell you? You know, I got in a car accident, but you're going to hear about it forever and ever and ever. And they are a show, but they are such a fun show. You're never going to have more fun than you are with the Sagittarius. And boy, are they funny, and they're wild. And oh, Sagittarian men, I loved a Sagittarian. That's what I love, dating a Sagittarian men. They are wild, wild, wild. And behind closed doors, woo! Thumbs up to those guys. You don't know what they've got in them, but they are like the centaur. And they are, I love a Sagittarius. I really do. They are fun, but they will be. And Sagittarius, they are, about the Sagittarius, they are the ultimate in, not, what is the word I'm looking for? Boy, my quarantine brain. They are non-committal. They're always the ultimate kind of, they're also like the ultimate bachelor too. The real hard ones to land. That, as far as the man goes, they're the ones hard to marry because they're so fun, so they're out there, but they're always falling into a different type of career. They can't make up their minds, and they're always switching it up. They can't ever commit to one thing. So they're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to be a chef. No, I'm an attorney now. And they have a hard time making decisions as far as what they exactly want to do and be.
All right. Yeah, so it's almost 6. So the next one is the Capricorn. And my brother is actually a Capricorn. So, yeah.
My dad is a Capricorn.
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry about both of that, you guys, because Capricorn, again, God bless the Capricorn. And maybe it's just me. I'm a little biased, and I know you're an Earth. Max. God bless the Taurus. Like I said, out of the Earth signs, the Taurus is probably the one, and I never really got along with Taurus men. They also just saw me come and were like, ooh, she's a lot. But you were raised by a Leo mom, so you get us, you know us, and I feel you on that. You know our energy. But the Capricorn is tough. There are many types of Capricorns. So they are the hardest. When you meet someone, kind of almost hard to figure out if someone's a Capricorn because they're kind of all over the place. The Capricorns are always in their brains trying to figure it. They're hard to, the Capricorn, they are very, I don't want to say methodical, but they are practical, but they're very judgmental. They are the most judgmental sign.
That is definitely my brother.
They have to size you up before they interact with you, and they've usually judged you before you've had your time. And
my mom actually complains about how judgmental he is, so that's really funny.
They judge you. They are judging you right away, and you've got to kind of work your way into their good graces for some reason. And they're hard. It's hard to tell you what a Capricorn is thinking. I would sit with a Capricorn and I'm like, I can't get into this person's mind at all. I'm usually good about reading body languages and faces and people's mannerisms, especially in an audience. But a Capricorn, super hard to read. They're never going to show you their cards. They internalize it, they're really hard to make cry.
Hmm.
And when you see a Capricorn crying, it's like, you just saw a unicorn.
Cool.
But judgmental. They're also list makers. They're gonna make their list. I
Hmm.
got a lot of Caps in my family, a lot of nieces, sisters, friends. I have a lot of Capricorn friends, but they're tough.
Hmm. All right. So the next one is Aquarius. And this is, here, wait, am I? Yeah, okay. My dad's an Aquarius, so
My mom
Mhm.
is an Aquarius.
nice. So what do you have?
Aquarius
Yeah.
are fun. I'm all pro Aquarius. The most people I ever dated were Aquarian men, and boy, are they erratic. They are erratic. They beat to the sound of their own drum. Sometimes they're pretty ostentatious with cars. They
Hmm.
like cars, and they're ostentatious. They like fine things. They love the finer things in life. What's crazy is they are the opposite ends of the astrological chart uh, as far as Leo goes. They
Oh, I
always
see.
say you shouldn't be an Aquarius, but that was always what I was attracted to the most
Hmm.
because we're supposed to be, not be in the same room. But they're kind of mysterious. They're fun. They're ostentatious sometimes. They're also very aesthetic. They love fine things, a little bit unpredictable. They're also wild boys, hard to nail down. They are an ultimate bachelor as well. But jealous.
Hmm.
Woo. Again, another jealous sign is the Cancer. The Cancer men and the Cancer women both are very jealous people. But Aquarians, men and women, very jealous. And those were the two signs I noticed the most that were very jealous in the types of not as in what other people are doing, but more as in love.
Hmm.
So you got to watch out because the Aquarian, though they seem like they got it all, maybe they got wealth and they've got this. They're super jealous, so kind of got to tiptoe lightly. And the number thing about the Aquarius that I love to say is the Aquarian, they will just say it. They don't necessarily think before they speak. They
Hmm.
will just spit it out. And it doesn't matter if there's a room full of people. It doesn't mean it's mean. Sometimes it's just something that makes no sense or is unorthodox or if it's
No
funny,
filter.
no filter. They just say it and you're like, and the whole room they're known to stop a room
Interesting.
with whatever they say. But boy, I'm a big fan of the Aquarius.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, finally we got the Pisces. So yeah, what do you think about Pisces?
Pisces water, again, I have two signs that are my least favorite. Uh, Virgo, and second is the Pisces. Sorry, Pisces.
I've
I know I
heard a
have
lot of
Pisces
people
friends.
say that they hate the Pisces.
I
Interesting.
I'm sorry, Pisces. I know you're water. I know you're so sensitive and it hurts your heart. And I know we want to tread lightly on the Pisces because there's some beautiful Pisces out there. And why is the Pisces a beautiful sign? They are the do-gooders of the world. They want world peace. They want to end world hunger. They want to make the world a better place. And there's heart there with the Pisces. They see other people. They feel for other people. However, the Pisces is the fish. They are slippery. They're the opportunists. You got to be a little careful. And they're outright say if they're opportunists sometimes. They're a little bit slippery. There's love there for the Pisces. And boy, are the Pisces funny. Some extremely talented people are Pisces. You just got to watch out. Those Pisces, they will sneak up and they will pull the rug out from under you. Slippery. Sorry, Pisces.
Interesting. Yeah, well, those are all the astrological signs. And so, yeah, I guess we can start talking about planets until you have to get going. So, yeah, so let's start. Significance of the planets.
I didn't
You know what,
update the,
Max? Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about, you guys want to talk about kind of what makes, I think the importance, instead of a little bit more of planets, is what we discussed earlier. That you have your sun rising, and then you have your ascendant. I'm sorry, you have your sun, then you have your rising, which is your ascendant, and then you have your moon, which is your emotions. These three things make up of the total person you are in astrology. Yes, planets come into play. Yes, then there are, the elements of what you are come into play. The houses come into play. But in order to do a full astrological chart, someone will say, okay, I need your birthday. What is your birthday? Okay, mine's August 14th. I need your year. You give them your year. Then they say, what time were you born? I need your exact time which you're born. So you give the exact time. And then they say, where were you born? And where were you born? I was born in Oklahoma City. When you get all that information, people can sit down and put a chart together. And so they can break down your houses, your planets. But what they need to know are these three things. And this is easy to look up on the internet if you want to find out just these three
I have
things.
it here actually.
We could go over to those right now.
So what they're looking for your three things are your sun sign, which we've gone over what your sun sign is, your birthday.
So Taurus, and then so for me, ascendant is Gemini, and the moon is Virgo.
Now what he's saying is about the ascendant. The ascendant, which is also your rising. If someone says, what's your rising? That is how other people perceive you. And sometimes the rising is really who you are. They say really that's who you are, more than sometimes your sun sign. And that plays into people of how you perceive a person and who they are. The moon is your emotions, how your emotions work. So you say you're a Taurus. Now your rising ascendant is what?
It's a Gemini.
Okay. And then your moon is what?
Virgo.
So I already see about you, Max. When I look at you, I would say you have a lot of earth in you. Because why? You're a doer. You've written 2 books. You're very smart. And those earth signs, man, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, smart. And you're doers. You're going to get stuff. If you want anything done, you want a good president, an earth sign. They're gonna make stuff happen.
I just want to say we might get cut off because the Zoom is going to end soon, but I will send you a new link.
So you guys are going to get it done. But I see where the Gemini comes in play for you, because here you are, someone who seems this practical. You're into knowledge. You are into information, and you see.
Well, there we go. They'll be back very shortly. Again, I'm really liking this episode. I hope you guys are too. And we're gonna teach you how to read. These are called natal charts that you see up here on the screen, and all of those signs that you see on the inner ring correspond to a planet or the moon. This is Max's, as you can see, if you go down to Virgo, you can see that the moon is in Virgo. That's also Jupiter to the left of the moon. They're both in Virgo. We're going to teach you how to read those and all that stuff, but just to give you some context about what we're talking about, then we're going to head right back into the next Zoom, which we have up here. We should get right back into it.
All right.
And we are...
Yeah.
We're back.
Oh, and here's Shawn. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. I guess just pick up where you left off.
Yeah, so what I was saying is, so the Gemini, I believe there's 2 sides to you, Max. I do believe that there are 2 people, because here you have this, kind of information side that's reserved and that you want to know and be. And then there's that Gemini part where I see that twin of you, which is the performer. You know, you like musicals, you like performing, and that's not necessarily a trait of somebody who's Earth. They're usually kind of sometimes under the radar, and they are like our information system. You would think like a lot of people in the tech world are probably probably a ton of Earth signs
Yeah.
in tech, because I would say you know, as far as like coding and the maybe the repetitive and the information that you're putting out there, that I see is more earth based. And then I see this artistic side of you, which this is why I would see twins. I don't think that everybody, just because we see you as this, I believe there is another side of you that hasn't even completely come out yet. That there could be this, you know, as you get older, another twin of you. But just with the performance alone, I think is very different than how people would perceive you. And that's where I think people look at you and see this dynamic Taurus. So I could see the twins definitely working in your favor, which puts that kind of, you know, fun side to you, which balances out that Taurian.
Interesting. So yeah, Sebastian, what are your ascendant? Do you have the link to the?
Well, yeah, but I also have it up here.
All right, cool.
My ascendant looks like it is. Oh, it looks like it's halfway between Sagittarius and actually no, that's firmly in Sagittarius.
Yeah, Sagittarius.
Yeah, the line that was there was confusing me.
Yeah.
So my ascendant is in Sagittarius and my moon is in Pisces. So.
Oh, God. Okay, so okay, because let me go back to Max. Max, you've got two Earths trying to like win, which is funny because you've got Taurus and you've got this. You're Taurus, you're level-headed, you're gonna get the job done, and your brain is a what did you say? You're a Virgo, right?
Yeah.
Your emotions are Virgo. Again, Virgos don't cry easily. Virgos, they've also got the level-headed. So your emotions are always kind of like, I'm not gonna show you all my cards, and I'm gonna keep things here. And you might internalize your feelings quite a bit. The Gemini in you, which is your rising, may want to let it out a little more. And I think that's where you're the sensitive human being.
Yeah.
I think that Gemini lets you express that, which is good. Because if you had any more earth to you, God, you know, you would be here. That could turn you into a bore. But as far as Sebastian, you've got this Cancer that's like, you got that water, which is like, you're almost like Max. You've got two water signs pulling. You've got that Pisces sensitivity water pulling you. You got that Cancer water pushing, and you really just want to go, because the Pisces, if they could just live with their mom, and you'll see Pisces men and kids like Brett, they want to be near their moms. They love being near their mom. Nobody wants to leave their mother's side when they're a Pisces. If they could go to college with their mother, if they could live with their mother, they could grow old and live with their mother, they would. And so you've got this water, and you've got this water, and then you've got this fire in the middle, Sebastian, that's just, again, making you want to just go tear it up and be out there and be verbose and kind of this dynamic person. So I think that's like, thank God you got that fire in you, Sebastian, because just even hearing you talk, and you know, you got this fun personality to you, and like cancers have that fun side to them too. But again, they've got that quiet internalizing, and Pisces is all over the place. So I love that, like the Sag is gonna probably bring you out a little more, just like Max's Gemini, and that's gonna and it's gonna make you inquire about things and be more of a daredevil than maybe the Cancer and Pisces would allow you to be.
Yeah, That's so interesting. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
with
I'm also a Sagittarian rising, Sebastian. So, which makes me double fire.
mhm.
And that's
Mm.
probably why I'm a little bit out of control and that I'm
Uh-huh.
as talky as I am and as fearless as I am. And it can be a lot for people. And
Uh-huh.
so here I've got Sag on top of Leo. Now I'm a Gemini rising. I mean, a Gemini moon. So my emotions are a little tricky. You can
Hmm.
get this side of me, and then when you do something wrong, boom, you're out. You won't see me again, and I will cut you.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I got that twin mentality.
Yeah.
with my Sag rising, I feel like I do my YouTube channel and I am, writing stuff and I'm doing a lot of stuff, but some of my other stuff, like I do debate a lot. That requires me to kind of be more obviously talkative and more aggressive. So I think that the Sag um, rising or Sag ascendant is kind of reminiscent of that in one way or the other.
What's great is if I have to think machismo out of all the signs, it would be the Sag. And what you're adding is like the sensitivity trait of the water is like that Sag adds that element
Hmm.
because they're usually, like I said, they're the ultimate bachelor, the Sag. And so you've got this romantic Cancer Pisces side to you, but then you've got this kind of, this flair that's going to help you be the man of the hour, and there's an excitement to that, so you can really, I don't know, that's the best of both worlds, especially if it comes to the ladies. They're going to love that fact that you have this romantic, because cancers do have a romantic side to them, and the Pisces does too. The Cancer, I can't see you, but the cancers usually have really big foreheads. Cancers have big foreheads because they're craft. And so I always give my husband a hard time. My brother has a big forehead. Any Cancer I've ever met, my other friend's brother were always laughing about how big his forehead is. For some reason, because it's the craft, and they carry, all in their face and and so that's something that I always think of when I think of the Cancer, which I forgot to say. But I love that there is that balance. You got all this water, and you needed something like that. Or if you were all water, forget it, Sebastian.
Mhm.
You would probably be in a room crying. This is good that you have got that fire to balance you out. And you too, Max, that you got that wild. You
Yeah.
both have two very wild signs that are just that create that balance for you. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
thank
really
you.
interesting with Gemini. Like, I try to sort of be a bit of a people pleaser, so I sort of understand that like two-part mentality because I sort of try to, um, like, say I have a new teacher, like each year, I always try to like figure out what the teachers are like and then sort of act in a way that they would like. So, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you got, again, you guys have these surprise elements to you. The Gemini, if I had to say, the three most fun signs for males, for me personally, if I had to say, would be Gemini, Sagittarius, and Aquarius.
Hmm.
So much fun.
There you go.
So
There you
you
go.
guys
Yeah.
embody that, and that's great because Taurians don't mean fun,
Yeah.
and Cancers don't necessarily mean fun. But those two signs, Sagittarian and Gemini, it's a nice mix.
Thank you.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, and I probably have to go. Unfortunately, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I looked at the clock, and I thank you guys for having
Oh, yeah,
me.
thank
I
you so
hope
much for
I
Yeah.
being here.
again I am not an aficionado in astrology. I haven't completely educated myself. I haven't sat down and studied astrology like many astrologers out there have. But for the most part, this is just from experience, reading here and there, and not everything is a fact. These are my opinions. This is just kind of what I've witnessed. And again, not everything rings true to what I say to every sign. Not all Pisces are bad people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the stuff that I personally witnessed.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Thank you for coming on the show. You brought a lot of knowledge to us and a lot of flair, I would definitely say, being a Leo. So, yeah, thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you later. So,
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Take care.
bye.
Take care. Bye, Taurus. Bye, Cancer.
See ya, Leo.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah,
Alright,
so that's
yeah.
pretty cool. When this Zoom meeting, do you want to
Yeah,
move
yeah,
back
we
to
can
Discord?
move back to Discord. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to move around the stuff a little bit, but I should be able
Yep.
to do it pretty quickly.
All right, yeah, we're gonna move
Alright,
back
yeah.
to Discord. Shawn did not have a Discord, so she preferred Zoom.
Mhm.
So should I just hit end meeting right now?
Yeah, sure. And then
Okay,
just
I'll
call
call
me
you on
Yeah,
Discord.
call me on Discord.
All right.
Yeah. That was really fun. I really liked Shawn as a guest. I think she definitely brought a lot to the table, especially because she has a lot more just general experience with all of this. And I think that this has been a super fun episode. I'm really glad that she could join us. Now, let's see if Max is going to be calling us. I don't necessarily want to show off all my Discord DMs to you guys. So, here, maybe I'll cut the display capture. Okay. Let's see what we are working with.
All right.
All right. Hello. Right now, I'm
Hello.
floating in a void of darkness.
Nice. Yeah, so that was really interesting. It was really fun to have Shawn on. I was saying she's our first guest who's over the age of 18. We've just had a ton of high schoolers on, so it was fun to have her on. And again, I just want to stress that astrology is fun, definitely, and fascinating, but we're not trying to present this as scientific fact, because unfortunately, it has not been, like, according to the scientific method, like verifiable, repeated kinds of experiments. But I don't think that makes it bad or anything.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I was going to say this earlier, but I think you could give it as much credence as a faith.
Honestly, yeah, I don't see why any religion, like currently any of the major religions, should be more or less credible than astrology. I agree with you there. So, yeah.
All right, I'm just doing some on-stream editing.
On-stream editing, yeah,
right
just
now.
Reconfiguring for Discord.
Yeah, all right, we should be good.
So yeah, so how about this? So how about we go back, we go through all the planets in more detail.
Yeah,
and then we'll talk. Yeah.
When we cut the Zoom the second time, I was explaining about how the symbols on the natal charts are the actual planets. We're gonna run through that now.
Yep.
So let's get into the significance of the planets, and I will let you guys see the display.
Yeah.
Capture.
So yeah, then we'll talk about the houses, and then once we get back to the horoscopes, let's get today's horoscopes and see what they say, see how they apply to us. So
all right.
So yeah. All right. So the significance of the planets. Yeah, Shawn talked about this a little bit. She talked about the sun, the ascendant, and the moon. And so the other planets.
It's capturing my cursor again. I can't.
Believe no!
It. I can't believe it.
The return of the devil. Yeah. The curse of the cursor.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, we should read all the chat we had since we had limited time with Shawn. I was sort of brushing over the chat, but yeah, we can read the chat again. So
sure.
Unfocused with Barry Elise has a whole monologue here. Yeah, she and Shawn were comedians and they knew each other in like California. So all right. So we got, yay, I am here and watching. So extra excited for this special episode with fabulous and hilarious Aunt Shawn Polofsky. There she is. I just hear her voice and
really
smile.
awesome.
I feel happy. Yeah. I remember those Shawn astrology dating days. Lol. I also loved Indian matchmaking on Netflix, I think, or whatever. That's true. They really did put a lot of weight on their astrological chart. I wonder what she's referencing there. But for each sign, I want to know if Shawn dated one. Did you date any Aries? I did. Hard-headed.
Hard-headed.
So I guess Shawn talked about that a bit. And then yeah, typo. Also, haha. I thought all men though, or thought that, I don't know. No matter what sign. I guess she's commenting on something. Shawn is Leo and fire, so Aries is also fire. Okay, interesting. You are the ultimate woman, Shawn. I'm always suspicious of women who don't have many women friends. Never a good sign. I've always had lots. Interesting. Yes, we are big personalities, and some people can't take it. So then we've got Taurus is Max and Eric Polofsky on the same day. Eric is a brother of Shawn's. And then, yes, Max, you have been a total Taurus since the day you were born. Nobody can talk you out of what you think. Yeah, sometimes it can be a problem, I must say. Sometimes it's not always good, but that is true. Then let's see. Lol, yes, we are, and we will get in your face, haha. The bull doesn't stop. That is Max, super determined and stubborn whenever he wants to be. Lol, love Aunt Judy. She is the best. I didn't realize she is also a Taurus. Wow, she left a lot of comments. I'm just going through this here. You and I don't want to hurt people's feelings, Shawn, but yes, Taurus is a straight and direct talker. Then Daniel the Manual says talkie.
Talkies. I love talkies, man.
And then back to Unfocused with Barry Elise says, because Geminis are considered two-faced, evil twins. Hi, Daniel. Todd Alexander, message redacted. Retracted. So I don't know what he said. But later he says, great show, Max, thumbs up. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Todd.
So yeah, thank you. And then Unfocused with Barry Elise. Yes, great episode for Red Season.
Yeah, I was talking about how it's just, it fits, like, on paper, it wouldn't look like it fits into it, but it kind of, it definitely does.
I feel like, the Red Season is like, it's sort of like branching out into interesting topics that we wouldn't usually cover. So yeah, Barry laughing. Yes, we are. Female Leo are more like us, loyal, friendly, PV people. I don't know. The man Leo is the ego, absolutely loyal to a fault we are, and he knows me. Two fiery Leos. Virgo. I love them. Tried to both one. Aunt Erin is one. They are very organized and pragmatic. I admire them. So yeah, that's all the chat. If you guys have more chat, feel free to talk to us. We love to talk to the audience. But yeah, so back to the topic. So we start with the sun, and as Shawn was saying, it's the main one. So when people, like, I guess laymen, when people don't really know much about astrology, but they're talking about it, they just think of the sun sign, which is, I guess, the most important one. It's the main one about you. But it's like there are others too that, as Shawn was saying, sort of make things a little different. So that's why I guess people don't exactly fall into all of these categories, because there are other signs as well for other planets and stuff, and so that sort of augments a person's personality. So yeah, so then we go to the Ascendant, and the Ascendant, I got a picture from the movie The Mask, because on this website I was reading, it says it's the mask you present to people. So that's also what Shawn was saying. She was saying that it's like how people perceive you, and so it's sort of like not how you truly are, I guess, but it's how you behave. So that's interesting. And then we go to the moon. Just brushing over these quickly because Shawn explained it, but the next ones we'll get into a bit more. So the moon, as she said, it's emotions. So this is, I guess, how you deal with things that happen. So feelings, moods. And yeah, so according to my source, it says, this is likely the sign you most think of yourself as, since it reflects your personality when you're alone or deeply comfortable. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, now we get into Mercury. So I guess all of these are less important but still there, I guess, to make things more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
So Mercury, as you know, the Greek god, well, this would be Roman, but the Greek god Hermes is what Mercury comes from, and Hermes is the messenger. So Mercury deals with how you talk to people and how you communicate. So this is how you like process information, give out information, and so I have a Aries Mercury. So I don't know exactly what that means, but I guess I talk like an Aries. I'm trying to remember what she said about Aries. Just like, I remember she didn't like Aries that much, but
no, she said they were very driven. So
Okay.
you're just very, very driven because you're also a Taurus.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So let's see. What sign are you in for Mercury?
For Mercury, I am, and we'll again see this when we get to the charts again.
Yeah.
For Mercury, I am a Leo. So there you go. I got that little bit of fire.
Another fire sign, yeah. Yeah, I will say, I find it fun, but I don't particularly believe in the veracity of astrology.
I don't know. She was kind of laying down a little bit of facts about
I know. It was like, I was surprised actually at how accurate it was. So I guess on a subconscious level, I probably believe in it more than I do on a sort of super conscious, like a objective level, because I sort of think like something has to go through the scientific method. But the things she said did feel like they applied to me. So I will put that out there. But yeah, so it's fascinating. It really is fascinating. Because it's like, I don't know, I guess if it works for you, right? Make what you want of it. I guess that's what it is. If it's useful to you, then who cares what other people think about it? I guess that's how I would say. But yeah, so the next one we got is Venus, which, again, Aphrodite. So this is the goddess of love. And so Venus deals with love. So it determines how and what you love. It indicates how you express affection and the qualities you're attracted to. So again, my Venus is Gemini. So that's the second Gemini.
My Venus is a Gemini as well. We're both Gemini Venuses.
So Veni. I guess that would be how it should be pronounced.
Although that literally will probably never be used in a sentence.
Yep. There's only one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, what is the plural of me? There isn't one.
Me's. Yes.
Yeah.
The many me's. Yeah, exactly. But no, unfortunately the us ending isn't consistent, and that makes me sad. Like the word virus is viruses, and I'm like, no, how dare you? Yeah. It should be viri. And I
platypuses.
Yeah, I will sink on the us to I ship. I will go down with the us to I ship. I guess because I'm a Taurus. I really think all the things that end with us should have plural versions that are I. But
so you think you guys should be called Tauri instead of Taurians?
Well, okay. Well, I guess it's.
Oh, we got him! We just broke the
it's different. It's different because you don't say someone's a Taurus. You say they're a Taurian. So Taurus is the sign. Taurian is the person. So I guess it sort of makes sense. But if you wanted to say multiple of that sign, you could say Tauri.
Okay.
That would be my argument.
All right.
But yeah, so that's Venus. Next we got Mars. I found this picture when I looked up the word aggression, and I feel like it's the source of the Wojak punching you. You know that? I want to look that up and put that in. Wojak punching you. because it's basically this drawing that people have. It's pretty funny. And I'm like, is this the source of this drawing? So here we go. It's this.
Oh, I got signed out. Oh no.
Oh, he got signed.
Okay,
Wait, you got signed out?
Here.
What happened?
No. I just need to sign back in. Okay, I just
Google or something?
Yeah, I just had to cut the graphic real quick so people didn't see like
I see.
my emails.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And we are back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just saying this picture, I feel like this picture is inspired by this picture. And it's uncanny. I can't unsee it. But yeah, so Mars is, I guess,
aggression.
how you it's aggression. It's the god of war. It's Aries. So it determines how you assert yourself, take action, and the energy that surrounds you. I'm not going to read the second part of that. But your ambitiousness and when you're angry. So if you get angry, oh my gosh, it's another Gemini.
Wow.
He's
a Gemini in hiding.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess when I get angry, I become a Gemini. It's like the Hulk.
Exactly. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Exactly.
I become a Leo when I am
Interesting.
angry. And I think that works because I'm a Cancer. So, and she said that Cancers have that latent anger. So, makes sense that my anger sign is a fire sign, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'll torch the place down. No one will survive.
Oh wow. That's threatening.
So you better subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, better go subscribe to 128 seconds. Yeah, all right. So the next one we got is Jupiter. And Jupiter is one of the two social planets. It rules idealism, optimism, and expansion. So it's very philosophical. So this is your philosophical, like your ideology, I guess. My Jupiter is Virgo, which is the second Virgo because the moon is also Virgo. So that's sort of interesting because philosophy is sort of also in your head, just like how the moon is like the emotions, right? So it's sort of like, I think very methodically, I guess, very Virgo-like.
Yeah, mine is also in Virgo. So there you
go. Yeah, so this is actually interesting. As we go through the planets, it actually begins, there's this astronomical truth that begins to assert itself, which is that the outer planets move very slowly around the solar system. Like Pluto, which is not a planet anymore, but it's still in astrology. Pluto is like, it takes like 200 years or something to go around the sun, which means that it'll stay in roughly the same spot in the sky relative to the stars. So yeah, but since we were both born in like 2004 and just like a few months apart, which changes which astrological sign we are with the sun and most of the inner planets. But as we get out here, we're probably going to have the same sign for all these planets. And as we get to the most outer planets, it's like anyone born within like 7 to 14 years has that same sign. So I'll get to that more in a bit. But yeah, so yeah, Jupiter's Virgo for me. What's yours?
Yeah, mine is also Virgo.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool.
So we suck socially is what that means because Virgos suck. And if we're socially Virgos, then
that's true.
We suck at just social interaction. Kind of true. But
that should be like everyone born in 2004, I think. Yeah. Because that's Jupiter takes like 12 years to go around the sun. So
there you go.
But yeah. So next we got Saturn. Saturn is the other social planet. It rules responsibility, restrictions, limits, boundaries, fears, and self-discipline. So I have Cancer for Saturn.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I have Cancer Saturn. Yeah, it's just gonna be lining up.
It's gonna be the same out here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. I'm trying to think. Are people our age particularly self-disciplined and responsible? What do you think? Press X to doubt. Maybe once we're adults compared to other adults, it'll be different.
Yeah.
because when people are kids, they tend to be more irresponsible anyway. But yeah, that's just funny. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Saturn. The next one, Uranus, is let's see. So it stays in each sign for 7 years, meaning it rules a generation more than a person. It rules innovation, rebellion, and progress. So that's interesting. Innovation, rebellion, and progress. So this is like technology people. I wonder if like that's why the internet revolution happened, at the time that it did. Maybe because all of the people with the same Uranus sign were all the same age at the same time. You know what I mean? Like that generation, like Mark Zuckerberg, that kind of person, like all those people who were in college at that time and are now like tech billionaires. So anyone that was in college in like 2005-ish, I wonder if there's something to that. But my Uranus is Pisces, so
yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Well, we might be like right on the boundary of one. There's a small chance that that's true. But yeah, so Pisces, I guess she didn't like Pisces. I remember that.
Pisces.
Shawn didn't like Pisces.
Our generation is just horrible in general.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, let's see. Well, I'm gonna go to the Pisces page. Let's see because it's about innovation, So
Pisces was like a water sign, so we would be emotionally innovative.
Yeah, let's see. Deeply intuitive. Feels things deeply, strong gut reaction. They know things from deep within and can often judge whether a person or a situation is good or bad. So maybe this will be the generation of like leaders. What do you think?
Yeah. You know what? I think it will be.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm announcing it.
I am
running for president.
He is running for president in 2040.
2040.
Yeah, so you're officially announcing your bid for president in 2040.
Yeah, I'm going to start my campaign now. It's going to cost me $350 million to keep this campaign going. But
you've got
damn
20
it,
years of
when
campaigning
2040 comes, I will get 99% of the ballot.
Yep. I can almost guarantee that.
I can guarantee.
Who's going to be your running mate? Will you not announce it yet, or what do you think?
No, you know what? I'll announce it right now. It will be a person that has not been born yet. That's crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't think that can happen actually.
Oh, is there a minimum age for vice president?
They need to be 35 as well.
They need to be 35.
It's the same as the president.
So that would be
because they need to be ready to become president if the president has something unfortunate happen to them.
I will be doing a random number generator.
I
will take the population of America, throw it into a random number generator.
Okay.
And I will find that citizen.
You'll pick a random number, a random 10-digit number, and then whoever has that social security number, it'll be that person. Okay, that's cool.
Wild thing. Here you go. Here's progress. I will have the first imaginary vice president. Thank you. We need more imaginary people in the government. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, how about you run for both president and vice president? You'll be your own vice president.
I like it.
Unfortunately, Sebastian had to resign. Sebastian, will now take up the mantle.
Sebastian's busy, but I'm here. How you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so let's go to Neptune.
You'll never guess who just joined chat.
Stop it.
Stop it. Do you want to be my running mate?
Stop it. Yes. Molino, stop it. 2040. I'm down. So yeah, we've got two comments in chat. We've got Unfocused with Barry Elise says, nice graphics, guys.
Thank you.
No,
this took us hours and hours and hours. Thank you.
Actually, you should see the next graphics. The next
that's true. The ones
are really good. Sebastian spent, I don't know how much time you spent on those, but those were really good. I just looked up images on Google Images for this one and just, and took the first one. And then the symbol, obviously, for each thing. So Stop It says, Stop It will win every election after my resounding victory on Tuesday.
What's happening on Tuesday?
Yeah, there's nothing. Is he referencing the previous election?
Well, we all know that Stop It doesn't actually adhere to time.
He doesn't adhere to time. Yeah.
He's talking about the election that happened on the 3rd. He's living 2 weeks in the past.
He's 2 weeks in the past. Yeah, Stop It. I have some bad news for you, Stop It. You did not win, unfortunately.
What if he did? Stop It is Joe Biden.
Stop It is Joe Biden. Yeah, maybe. What if that's actually his account? Because we don't know who Stop It is. This could actually just be. This could be anyone. Stop It could be anyone. It could be Joe Biden. So
it would be the biggest plot twist if it turned out that you or I were Stop It, and we had just been trolling the other.
I would be very, very upset.
I would be upset too.
I would be so freaking upset. Oh my god!
Or
I would actually have to curse on stream. Actually, if that happened, I would get so upset.
Wouldn't that be just the longest con ever?
That would be the longest con. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so Neptune stays in each sign for 14 years, which is longer, and it rules dreams, imagination, and the unconscious. So we both have Aquarius, I assume.
Yep.
All right. So that's this generation, 14 years of Aquariuses. Aquarius is like, let's see.
Aquarius was the one that it was an air sign. But a lot of people think it is a water sign, but I think it was the most independent one. It was a very
that's what it says.
Made, and I think that fits our generation.
That makes sense.
We each have our individual dreams, our individual ventures. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, independent and unique. No one quite like an Aquarius. And because each is so incredibly individual, it can be tough to describe them as a group. Yeah, that's really interesting. I think it's also sort of speaks to like the entrepreneurial spirit of this generation, because I just started this YouTube channel, you know. Sebastian started his own YouTube channel. We just went for it. You know what I mean? Yeah. We didn't stop. We went our own way, and we're like, we're going to do our own thing. So I think that's very apt. Yeah. So
all right.
The next one is Pluto, which is no longer a planet, but I guess actually when we were born, so when it applies to us, it was a planet because it was unplaneted in 2006. So technically, it was still a planet when we were born. I don't know how we are the last Plutos. I don't know how the astrological community is dealing with the unplaneting of Pluto, but I should have asked Shawn that. But I would be very interested to find that out. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so Pluto stays in each sign for up to 30 years, meaning it rules a generation, blah, blah, blah. It rules power, intensity, obsession, and control. So, and it's Sagittarius for us. So Pluto is interesting because Pluto is the god of death in Greek, or Roman. Yeah. Hades. Is Pluto supposed to be Hades? I know there are like 5 or something different death gods, and it's like it's like Hades. Okay. So then it's the god of the dead. I want to make that clear. Yeah. Hades gets very upset when you call him the god of death. He's the god of the dead.
Exactly.
It's a fine line, fine distinction. But the god of death would be Thanatos. So you got to make sure you don't confuse them. Otherwise, Thanatos might come for you, like the Grim Reaper, essentially.
Might be like, hi, Thanatos. Read the name to.
Exactly. Yep. So Sagittarius is the Pluto for this generation. So that's the fire symbol, right? Yeah. So that, I guess, means
what does that mean? Sagittarians were
strong-willed,
the bold. They were the bold and the brave. So we go boldly into death, is what we do.
No. It says power, intensity, obsession, and control.
Oh yeah, right.
So
We are bold with our power. We are very
power,
intense. That mean
intensity,
we are very intense.
obsession, and control. So that means we're very intensely obsessed with things. I could see that with this
Hmm.
generation. We are pretty obsessed with certain things. Like people, everyone has their own thing, which is the independence from like, the Neptune and Uranus, but they have their thing and they are really obsessed with it. So I guess that's how this could be interpreted. Um, so yeah, but that's the last one. There are no planets after Pluto. Uh, so now let's go to retrograde motion. So this is a fascinating one. Retrograde motion is so the planets usually travel across the sky east to west, I'm gonna guess, or it might be whichever way the sun goes. And
The sun does go east to west.
okay, yeah, that would make sense. Well,
Hmm.
you see, it's not day to day. It's about like compared to the
Oh,
stars. I think it's also east to west actually, because the Earth
okay.
rotates in the same direction that it moves.
Yeah.
Like it's both counterclockwise. So I'm going to assume and hope that I'm correct that it is east to west. But occasionally the planets will go backwards, west to east. And this is known as retrograde motion. It's a real thing in astronomy as well as in astrology. And in astrology, it means that, something is not okay. Something's, it's all reversed essentially because
Hmm.
the reversing of motion of the planet is like representative of the reversing of normalcy, I guess. So so yeah. So
So
let's
wait,
see.
why does
Yeah.
retrograde motion actually happen?
Yeah. So retrograde motion occurs because the Earth is orbiting the sun and then another planet is also orbiting the sun but say at like a slower pace. So sometimes what happens is that when the Earth overtakes the planet, Uh, so when the planet is almost at opposition, which means that the Earth is coming up from behind the planet and then outpacing it, what actually happens is that the planet's motion is not enough relative to the Earth's motion, like whizzing past it. Think about if you're on a highway and you whiz past like a big, like 18 wheeler or something. It looks like the 18 wheeler is moving backwards relative to you, but you're all moving forwards because you're on a highway, right?
Mm.
And so that's essentially what retrograde motion is. And when the Earth gets farther from a planet, the planet's motion overtakes the Earth's motion again, because think about if you're again on a highway, think about like the mountains in the distance. They barely move, but like the trees next to the highway, rush by super fast. So when you're close to the planet, like, or when the Earth is close to the planet, like when we're close to trees, our motion sort of looks like we're going past really fast. But then when we're farther away on the opposite side of the sun, it's like the mountains.
Hmm.
So that's sort of my description. It's complicated to explain. You can see a diagram of it though. You can look it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
We have one more chat.
oh, one more chat. Let's see what the chat says. We got Unfocused with Barry. Elise says, very interesting info. Learned lots. Thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for
thanks
watching.
for being here.
But yeah, so currently there are two planets in retrograde motion, and those are Uranus and Neptune. And what that means is that anything related to innovation, rebellion, and progress, and anything related to dreams, imagination, and the unconscious are thrown out of whack right now. They are not doing well. I don't know. Um,
So Max,
recently, yeah.
tell us what happens when Mercury is in retrograde.
Okay. When Mercury is in retrograde, it is probably the best known retrograde. People always talk about Mercury being in retrograde. Uh, and I don't know. It messes things up. Let's see what it says. So communication goes haywire, I guess. So if you're on the phone, it'll start glitching out, right? But it's also sort of miscommunication just when you're talking to someone. You might misinterpret what they're saying during retrograde. And so, I mean, just imagine a shutdown of communication, right? That's never good. That can't have good effects. So everything sort of goes crazy when Mercury is in retrograde. I guess that's what I would say. Especially a lot of astrology stuff is geared toward like relationship advice. And so if you're in a relationship and Mercury's in retrograde, then there's probably going to be a fight because you're not going to be communicating properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there'll be misunderstandings. So the next Mercury retrograde will start on January 30th and end on February 20th. So get ready. Get ready for a wild ride in 2021. But yeah, so another interesting thing is Mars was recently in retrograde on November 12th. The last Mars retrograde ended. And so it sort of means that, you know, if you think of Mars as like war and stuff, it makes things sort of go a little like chaotic and makes conflict happen. And so if you made any plans, then like they're doomed to fail or something. So it's interesting. It's also interesting, the retrograde, what am I saying? The commonality of retrograde, so the frequency, like they happen every X days, right? Actually lines up with the synodic periods of, you know, Earth with the given planet, which is actually useful for space exploration. I'm not sure if they are lined up exactly. So like, I'm not sure if it's best to launch a rocket when Mars is in retrograde, but the frequency is like 26 months. So every 26 months, Mars will be in retrograde, and every 26 months, it's favorable to launch a rocket to Mars. But I'm not sure if they line up or if, you know, it's always like 5 months after the retrograde, it's always best to launch a rocket. Or 5 months before. I bet it's 5 months before because there were a lot of rocket launches in like July. So, but yeah, so that lines up. So right before a Mars retrograde, you'll see a ton of rocket launches to Mars. But yeah, so those are the retrogrades. If you are planning to, I don't know, if you're planning to innovate, rebel, or progress, then be careful because Uranus is in retrograde. And if you are planning to dream, imagine, or be unconscious, then watch out because Neptune's in retrograde.
Wow.
I'm joking, but yeah, so that's kind of what this means. So what we've been talking about, the meaning for each planet here, like the opposite is true during retrograde. And so bad things happen during the retrograde. But apparently retrogrades, like at least one thing is in retrograde 80% of the time. So we got to live with the retrogrades. But apparently the Mercury one is like the worst. And the Mars one sounds pretty bad. Actually, I imagine Venus would be pretty rough because a Venus retrograde, you know, astrology, as I said, they like to talk about relationship advice. That can't be good for retrograde Venus, right? So yeah. Anyway, let's go to the next topic.
Yeah, let's head on over.
The
astrology
houses.
Yeah.
So I really don't know much about this. I don't entirely get it. I think you understand it better than I do, so just take it away, honestly.
All right. So the charts that we showed earlier with all of the different planets, like where they were, all that stuff, those are called natal charts, and you can go to a website and like look it up and get your chart for that day. The stream looks like it's kind of getting a little whacked out. Okay,
yeah,
we're back.
I think it's a Mercury retrograde.
Honestly, it is going up and down. That is really funky. Okay, it looks like it's holding now.
Okay, cool.
But basically, those planets and the moon can be, and the sun, because those aren't planets, can be in
Yeah.
a specific house. And there are 12 houses, just like there are 12 signs. So each sign corresponds to a house. But each house also corresponds to a value. So, for instance, let me pull up my actual
Yeah.
natal chart so it gives me
Yeah,
the
I'll get mine up
rundown.
too. Yeah.
Let me go to the website. Looks like the stream is still holding. Okay, I do not know what's going on with it.
Yeah. Yeah, my Taurus, it says, my sun sign is in the 11th house.
Okay, so yeah, we will go through what that actually means.
Yeah, we'll get to that. It's one of the last ones, so we gotta wait.
Yes,
But yeah.
All right, 6:30 p.m. So what I'm doing right now is I am putting in exactly what Shawn was telling us about earlier, where I was born, the date, and the time.
Wow, you didn't save the link? Come on, I saved the link to mine.
Oh, well, I did not, but I'm here. Okay, Max.
Yep.
Sorry, sorry I'm not a Taurus. I'm not just so forward thinking. Jeez. Don't you know I'm a Cancer, so I can't do it, because I was off crying being a man baby.
Sorry if I hurt your feelings, man baby.
Come on. So anyways, so for example, I have if I could go over to the this is going to be an issue. Okay, here we go. Let me do this. Let me do this. Does this work? Here, let me do this. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Sure thing.
I should have saved the link. But
that's what I'm saying. You should have saved the link.
I really should have. But
now it's asking for an email account, isn't it?
I'm giving it a fake one. Shh,
exactly. Don't tell them. Yeah. I don't know why, but it is so cold in this room. So my hands are really cold, but like it's temperature imbalance is unfortunate. Yeah.
All right. So I have for instance, even the sun sign is in the 7th house for me.
Okay.
And my moon is in the 3rd house, my Mercury is in the 8th house, my Venus is in the 6th house, yada yada yada. It goes down. So let's talk about what that actually means. So
so let's start with the 1st house.
House
my ascendant
of self.
Yeah.
I also have a 1st house ascendant. I feel like I remember that that's most people have an ascendant in the 1st house. But
I also have 1st house Saturn, Cancer. You probably do as well, right? Because
no,
well, actually maybe not.
Actually, yeah, I don't. It's just Pluto. My Pluto's in the 1st house. But so the 1st house I wrote down here is the house of self. And there's a lot of different names for this house, but I just stuck with the actual virtue that it had. So you can see it be called other things, but I chose to just call it House of Self. Each house has a correspondent sign, and for this one it is Aries, as you can see in the top left. And each house has a corresponding word. So this one you can see in the top right is Vita, and that's Latin for life. All of the mottos are in Latin. So the House of Self deals with physical appearance, traits, characteristics, what your outlook is, your impressions, and basically your ego. So it also handles how you give yourself off as first impressions, basically how you appear, all that general type of stuff, like in that wheelhouse. So both me and Max have our ascendants in the 1st house, and that makes sense because the ascendant is how others perceive you. So first impressions, stuff like that. But yeah, so this 1st house, I actually think it actually might be tied to the ascendant. I think your ascendant might always be in the 1st house because the 1st house is sometimes called the house of the ascendant. So I'm not sure if you guys can do it. Drop it down in the comments if you guys have
Oh
an
yeah.
ascendant that isn't
Here,
in the
wait.
first house.
I will actually put the
Yep.
link to the website that we've been using.
Yeah. But
So if you go to this website, you can check out your natal chart. So there you go, in the description below,
so that's the first house. Going over to
or in the
the
chat. Sorry, not.
Yeah. Going over to the second house is the house of value. It is tied to Taurus. We're going in the same order as the actual astrological
Yeah.
signs. So this is the house of value. The motto up there is lucrum, which means gain. So this is all about get that bread. So this is material and also immaterial things of certain value. But it's mostly material things like money, possessions, acquisitions. But it can also be taken as cultivation as well as substance and self-worth. So if you had a valuable experience, that would definitely go into this house. For the second house, I have um, just Neptune.
I don't have anything.
I just have
Yeah.
Neptune. So
Huh.
I gain stuff from my dreams. It should seem. So
That's really interesting. Yeah.
yeah, based on all of that, you can tie it to your own self, and a lot of it is just you have to give it meaning to yourself. Like you can get deep into it, and you can be like, oh, this is usually this, and this is usually this. And it can get filtered down to a very specific thing, but then even then you need to tie it to your own experiences and your own self. And
Oh, you know, it would be.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, it would be a really cool superpower is that of productive dreams. So if you were to dream that you, I don't know, typed a 10-page essay, you'd wake up with the 10-page essay.
But if you had a nightmare, then you wake up and there's a 10-foot tall cloud over your bed.
That's the conflict. That's the plot. That's the conflict. Yeah, you can't gain without losing. So equivalent exchange, right? So that's the whole conflict. If anyone wants to write that story, you don't even have to credit me. I just want to see the story written. So feel free to use that idea. Anyway.
All right. So that is the House of Value. And we're just getting random paintings up here. This is just a painting of a king. If you guys know what king that is, let us know. But then we go into the third house, which is the House of Sharing. And I found these like really nice Victorian era paintings of just people sharing
with the cats.
With the cats.
Yep.
It's just really nice.
The original cat memes.
Exactly. I don't know. I really like the aesthetic of these paintings. But
yeah,
this is the House of Sharing, and it is also the house related with Gemini. The slogan of this is Fratres, which means order. This is largely based in communication as well as generosity, as well as intelligence, development, achievements, and like it has to do with sometimes siblings, transportation, that sort of thing. It deals with being a part of a community. How it's tied to Gemini, I can't really speak to because Geminis, as we said, are kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But I think Shawn was talking about how they are kind of very giving people. So that could tie in to this. So, yeah, that's basically the third house. I think I had a couple in the third house. Yeah, my moon is in the third house. So,
yeah, I don't know.
My moon is in Pisces and the third house. So what that means, as you saw from Shawn, she freaked out when I told her that my moon was in Pisces. Because that would mean that I'm very, very like emotional, and I have very strong emotion. Well, I might not show them. I have strong emotions. It being in the third house would mean that my reaction to these strong emotions would be to either communicate them or not communicate them, or just to mainly be sharing in them. But you can either take that as in I actually share out my emotions, which I don't think is correct. But You can also take it as I will do acts of generosity to try and alleviate those strong emotions, which I think is definitely more true. Um, like a lot of people will like I thought this is a completely side tangent, but I was just thinking of it a while ago, like a month or two ago. Jacksepticeye, great YouTuber, like parallel with 128 seconds was
Yeah.
sometimes he does charity live streams, but on this specific day he was donating stuff to smaller Twitch streamers, and it's been obviously it's been done, but he started off the video saying, hey, I'm not feeling too great, so I want to make other people feel better. And then he did the same video again, and he's like, I feel great, so let's make some other people feel great. So that is a very sharing thing to do. He definitely has a lot
I wonder
of
if
stuff. I wonder if he's a Gemini.
Yeah.
When is Gemini's thing? Actually,
Gemini.
There's no way. I think his birthday's in February, so there's no way.
Yeah. Oh, true.
So
he would be either Pisces or Aquarius, but
he would be in Aquarius. But
yeah.
Anyways, just stuff like that would be if you had your moon in the third house. It would be your reaction to having those emotions, however strong or weak they may be. But anyways, we go over to the fourth house. I really like this picture.
My moon and my Jupiter. Yeah, me too.
It's a great
but my moon
picture.
and my Jupiter are both in this house, so yeah.
This is the house of family, and of course it's ruled by Cancer, and Shawn was talking a lot about that when I mentioned I was a Cancer. She said I'm probably very close to my mom, which I would say is probably true. The slogan of this one is genitor, or maybe genitor, which means parent. This is the house of home and family, so it deals a lot in ancestry, heritage, roots, your mother or your caretaker, and your household, your neighborhood, your comfort, and your security. So which did you say you had in the fourth house?
Yeah, both of these are Virgo, and it's the moon and Jupiter, both Virgo in the fourth house.
Moon and Jupiter. So you can take that as
so that would be emotions.
Yeah.
And philosophy.
Philosophy. So you can take that as in your emotions and your philosophy are based off of your family members, or you feel that your emotions and your philosophy are strongest when you are with your family, or you feel that you have similar emotions and philosophy to your ancestors or other family members. But again, for any individual person, you have to give it your own meaning. That's the same thing with faith or philosophy. You have to
definitely
personalize it and tailor it to yourself. For me, I
very interesting though.
Do not have any fourth houses, probably because I'm enough of a Cancer as is. I kind of like that.
Makes
how
sense.
you had majority Earth, but then you got balanced out by the other signs
with an air.
With the air.
Yeah.
And I was
and then your majority water
and I got balanced out by all the fire. Yeah, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we're both similar in that way, even though it's pretty different.
That's why we work so well. And Earth is the opposite of air, and fire is obviously the opposite of water.
Yep.
So there you go.
We've got every element covered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
very cool.
Anyways, that is the fourth house. The fifth house is the house of pleasure. It is ruled by, I think that's Leo. Yes, it is Leo.
It's Leo.
Their slogan is Nati, which means children. So directly related to the last house, which their slogan was Genitor, which was parent. This one is children. This is all about recreational and leisure activities, things that make for your enjoyment and your entertainment, games, gambling, romance, all that stuff, like your children, how your children might turn out, and how you self-express creatively, like a child would. So for the fifth house, I have none. I'm not happy. Neither of us are happy. We are just
We're not
sad
happy.
people.
We're sad people. Yeah,
But
exactly.
if you had something like, say you had your Mercury in your fifth house, what you could take that as is that you really do enjoy communication, because that's what Mercury is all about. You really enjoy
Yeah.
bonding with people. You are a people person. You are extroverted. You are all of that. But I digress.
Yeah.
The sixth house, the house of health, and you got a little healer dude healing up this deal.
Yeah. I
This,
like it.
thank you. This is Virgo, so probably not the most liked house, but
Yeah.
their slogan is Vale Tudo, which literally just translates to health. Um, so
Okay.
this
I think that's the name
yeah.
of a moon of Jupiter.
Oh,
Like a
cool.
minor moon of Jupiter, I believe, is named Valetudo. I only know that because I have like a project I have to do tomorrow about
Yeah,
it.
you're right.
So
Yeah. Look at that.
wow,
It is an
that's crazy.
It is an orbital period of 533 days. That's my lucky number. Is 533. Look at that.
Wait, whoa. This is some crazy.
That's crazy.
You're going to be very healthy, I think.
I am. I'm a healthy dude. I just started working out daily. Look at that.
Yeah? Good for you.
Look at
Nice
me.
job.
Yes. And no,
Yeah.
my lucky number is not 128, as some may think.
Some may have guessed. 533 seconds, new second channel.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah. So this isn't how you would think it is, because it focuses more on your it's not your social health, but it is. I would say it's your activity health, because this focuses on your daily routine. How healthy is your daily routine? How skilled are you in certain things, as well as what service do you provide for others? Which is why I chose this healer healing somebody else, because it can be taken as how healthy do you make other people. And of course that's like socially. If you're a doctor, then aces to you. But
yeah.
For the sixth
house, I've got
house,
Pluto in the sixth house.
It's got Pluto in the sixth house. Corey in the house.
Corey in the house.
I do not have anything in the sixth house. So
wow.
For you, I guess it would maybe mean that you're more health giving. Pluto was relating towards.
It was power, intensity, obsession, and control.
So you are,
and it's also a Sagittarius for me. So
exactly. So maybe you are more healthy in your obsession and your control.
That's good, actually. Healthy obsession, because people always talk about unhealthy obsessions.
Yeah.
So I would be happy if I have healthy obsessions. So that's interesting.
So we move into the seventh house, which is the house of balance. So I have the yin yang up here.
Yep.
This is ruled by Libra. The motto
the scales.
Is, this is the scales. The motto is Uxor, which just means spouse. So you could also take that as meaning like a balance in the home, like two spouses balancing each other out. And that's largely what this house is actually about. It's about partnerships. Marriage, business matters, diplomacy, agreements, contracts, all that. So heavy focus on marriage and relationships paired with contracts, like social contracts, all that type of stuff. So this is my Cancer. Sorry, this is my sun sign. So my or where the sun is, what house it's in. Ooh. So my sun's sign is Cancer, and my sun is in the seventh house. So
you're very balanced then.
It means that while I am a Cancer and I can be overly emotional, I do try and balance it out with other stuff. And I would say that's true, because I like if you wanted to, if someone asked me to describe myself in one word, and if anyone ever asks you to do that, they suck, and they're just trying to.
Yeah, I know.
They aren't trying to take the time to get to know you. So anyone that asks you, describe yourself in one word, like not even 5
just speak
words.
very quickly.
Exactly. Yeah.
No. This is what you do. Precede it with hashtag blah, 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 blah. Because as we all know, hashtags don't contain spaces.
Hashtag on July 6, 2004. I was. Anyways. But,
Exactly.
If I had to describe myself in one word, it would be that I am a dreamer. You know, that I have big aspirations, and I do my best to follow through with them. But what I'm largely motivated by is just dreams. Sometimes literally. Sometimes I do literally have dreams that I act upon. But then I have long-term dreams and all of that, and that's how I run my life. I run my life based on those dreams. Not by anybody else's agenda, just by my own agenda. So, I balance that out with dreaming and all that stuff with actual solid work. Like I study for school. Like I don't have my head in the clouds when I need to get down to it. Like I'm good in a crisis. I can get focused in the moment. I can hyper focus on a specific task, whether it's like labor intensive and stuff. So for me, this is just me personally. Again, you have to tailor it to yourself. I balance myself between the unreal, or like the metaphysical, I should say, and the physical. But yeah, so House of Balance I think is pretty cool. Um, I remember that Shawn really liked Libras. I think, was that what she said was her favorite? I think it was.
I think so, yeah.
But anywho, uh, that is the seventh house. Over here in the eighth house, this is the House of Transformation, ruled by Scorpio, which is probably the most infamous sign.
Yes.
Their slogan is Mors, which is literally just death. If you couldn't tell by the root word.
Oh no. Yeah, Morse. Oh my gosh, that's rough.
Yeah, so just death, but that isn't what it really means. It means it's talking about the cycle of death and rebirth. So death as a part of life. Again, because it is related to Scorpio, it deals with sexual relationships and commitments of that nature, as well. But it also refers to finances and other stuff, also resources, and also karma, debt. But the biggest thing here is regeneration, or just general transformation. So, if if you do tarot card, I just got a tarot reading like yesterday or the day before. If you pulled the death card, it isn't like, sorry, Bucko, it's game over.
You're gone.
Death. If you pull the death card in tarot cards in a tarot reading, it doesn't mean you're going to die. It means that an idea you have is going to die, or an ideal you have is going to die, and transform into something else. For instance, if you had an idea of, oh, I want to buy a car. So you start looking at cars and you start looking at it and you're like, oh, but why is this car better than this other car? And then you end up getting into the actual engineering behind cars, and then you start getting into actual engines and how to build cars. Your idea of buying a car died and transformed into a pursuit of engineering. So that's really what that tarot card means and what this thing means. So this just speaks to ideas you have aren't going to pan out most of the time. They're going to transform. Like, nothing is really ever going to happen exactly as you see it. Once in a blue moon, there's going to be that thing that just lines up perfectly and you can just shoot it right down the middle. But usually ideas do have to die. And that's what this...
You gotta adjust your sails. You know, you can't change the course of the wind, but you can adjust your sails.
Exactly.
And you gotta go with the flow.
So I have 2 in the 8th house. I have Mercury, and I have Mars. So Mercury, again, communication. How I talk to
are you just going to spontaneously start speaking in Spanish?
That's what I was about to do. That's what I was literally, my next sentence was going to be in Spanish.
Nice.
But on a serious note, what this would mean if you had your Mercury in your 8th house, your communication would transform, or who you communicate to. Like, if you start losing friends or you start gaining friends. That's
Uh-huh.
a transformation and a death of a certain kind of communication. Like it's a change going from
Interesting.
like uh, talking to two people to four people. It's a death of the talking to two people state to move to there. But
Hmm.
you could take it as that. But I also have Mars in the eighth house. Um, so, and it even gives you a description here on the website
Uh-huh.
that Max just dropped in. So, for Mars, it's saying that I put a lot of energy into darkness, taboos, rebirth, sex, and transformation.
Ooh.
Obviously, speaking towards the transformation house. So,
Yep.
for aggression transforming, I think that is more for me. Um, I feel like that is more redirecting my energy. Because if I get
Hmm.
angry, um, like Shawn and I were talking about how I kind of hold it in, because I'm a Cancer.
Mm.
I don't let it out. I need to transform it into something else. So I transform it in some way into like energy and stuff like that. So like
Hmm.
if I get angry,
It's a
I'll
productive.
do some push-ups. I'll work out. I'll eat incredibly. I woke up angry for some reason this morning. I was just like, and then
Wrong side of the bed.
I didn't eat until 1:30. So I was just getting I
Mm.
was just a big ball of anger, and then I ate a disgusting amount of food, and I like honestly, I got my daily calorie count in that one meal, but
Oof.
I after that, well, I mean, what
Hmm.
I did was that I had eggs and sausage. On my eggs, I put incredibly hot peppers, Nagapucha lokia. It used to be the hottest pepper in the world until they started genetically modifying stuff. So, but threw that on my eggs. Had sriracha, which isn't hot, but it does add a little something to my sausages. Slashed some more hot sauce on there, shoved it all in my face so I could feel just my mouth
Oh my
lighting on
gosh.
fire, you know,
You can tolerate a ridiculous amount of
a
spicy
ridiculous
foods.
amount of spicy.
Oh my gosh. Like, I think I am good with spicy foods until I talk to you. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like, oh
but
yeah, I like the wasabi with
the
sushi
wasabi.
where other people just throw it out,
No,
but
that's the
you
thing.
probably just eat the whole like just one you just swallow the whole wasabi thing. Is
No,
that what you
no,
do?
no, no, no. That's different because it attacks. It was specifically with wasabi. Wasabi attacks a different part because wasabi,
Oh, okay.
in a way, it kind of. Well, here's another thing that I'm not sure if you knew. Just
Mhm.
interesting fact has nothing to do with this astrology,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but the mustard that, or excuse me, the wasabi that you get in America is not actually wasabi. It is a mustard, and like it's based in mustard. So if you have wasabi and then you
Okay.
taste spicy mustard, they kind of taste a little similar. It's because it actually
Oh,
is mustard that has been dyed
it's
or cut with
fake.
something else. It is fake. You cannot
I
get
have
yeah, you can't get
I
real
have been
wasabi unless
cheated
you
and
go
lied to.
to Japan. But the taste
I
is
can't
kind of
believe it.
similar.
I've been duped. I have
So
been duped and flabbergasted and bamboozled.
so
I cannot believe this. This is a betrayal.
yeah,
This
you
is
can't get real wasabi
crazy.
unless you go to Japan. But the thing is
Okay.
that because that's what you get here in America, it attacks the same parts of your tongue as in if you, for example, if you got hit by mustard gas, and I've not
Ooh,
built up a tolerance to
not fun.
mustard gas. So, while I can
Yeah.
eat the world's hottest peppers on legitimately a daily basis, um, I
Uh-huh.
I can't really handle wasabi that much. Zach,
Huh.
on the other hand,
Yeah.
doesn't really partake in the spice, doesn't really do like nothing like I do, and he can just
Hmm.
eat entire balls of wasabi. I saw him do it once, and it
Wow.
was terrifying.
Oh
He
my
just went
gosh.
just with the
Oh
wasabi.
gosh.
I'm like, oh my
Oh my
god.
god. That
So
is crazy. That
he
is
is not
legitimately
so
crazy.
different, you and I. But I actually, Max,
Wow.
you probably have a better wasabi tolerance than I do, believe it or not.
Huh. Interesting.
But anyways, back to transformation.
Yeah.
Or we've talked about this house enough. Let's move on to
Yeah,
a
yeah. All right, ninth
house.
house.
House of
I've got
philosophy.
the Neptune is in the ninth house. So
Neptune.
and it's Aquarius. So I guess I have like dreamy, imaginative, like idyllic philosophy. Like maybe I'm an idealist. So wait, let's see what it says on the website. It's in your 9th house, meaning that for you, this manifests in your ideal, verging on unrealistic and impractical about philosophy, faith, education, and politics. I can see that definitely.
Your politics are unreal.
I usually try to go for the idealistic approach. I think I'm a bit too idealistic. So that's very interesting in the unfortunate accuracy. The like, I don't like to admit it, but it's true. I can't believe it. But yeah, go ahead. House of Philosophy.
I have Jupiter in my 9th house, which is really good.
Ooh, it's a double.
Because it's a double.
Yeah.
And they talk about doubles a lot. For instance, if you had your if you had your sun sign, which was Scorpio, in your 8th house, then that's a double Scorpio, stuff like that. Or but because I have my Jupiter in philosophy, which is Sagittarius, it's a double. And if my sign was Sagittarius, it would be a triple, right? So I have a double in philosophy. I have a double major in philosophy. So I'll talk about what that means in a minute. But relates to Sagittarius, Iter. Oh, you just saw my Castle Crashers background. Sorry about that, everyone at home. Love that game.
No problem.
Really
it's a
do
pleasure.
love that game. Yeah.
Yep.
But anyways, Iter means passage. So what this really what this relates to is travel, foreign affairs, culture, expansion, law, ethics, education, philosophical interests, belief systems, and experience through exploration, which is how the travel and the philosophy come together. So, because I have a double in this house, I find a large amount of success. What the double means success, and the triple means that it is absolutely inherent to your being. We're just getting hit
ungodly
with a storm
levels
now.
So we were hit with Ada.
Oh yeah, how was
they canceled school on Monday.
Did it actually hit you? Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Kind of. It rained really hard. I took a video of it. It was raining. My pool like overflowed. But
oh yeah, I saw that on your Instagram.
There's drains, so
yeah.
But yeah, like they canceled school on Monday. Everyone was hoping they would cancel it again, but they didn't. So yeah, like you guys have snow days, but we get hurricane days. I think those are a lot cooler. Instead of making a snowman, we can go outside and fly for a few seconds before, unfortunately, not flying anymore. So yeah, that's what we get to do on a hurricane day.
Florida storms.
Yep.
So anyway, back to what I was saying. The double means that you find massive success. So this would mean that I find success through the creation of meaning. So philosophy, faith, education, and politics, and travel. 100% with the philosophy, 100% with the politics, and 100% with the travel. 110% with the travel. I think travel is one of the most important things in life in and of itself. I was talking to Max earlier about how I want to go to Thailand because I've had dreams about Thailand, and I just think that it would be a very rich experience. And I've barely been out of the U.S. I've been to Bermuda, which is part of the United Kingdom. I've been to Costa Rica, and I've been near the Bahamas, but I think that's still U.S. owned. So I've barely been out of the U.S. I've traveled around the U.S. a lot, but never really been outside of the country too much. But that one time I did go to Costa Rica was absolutely life-changing. It was fantastic. So I get a massive success out of travel, massive success out of philosophy. On a daily basis, I think about my own personal philosophy, how I can tailor it, all that kind of stuff, and also politics. I do debate, and I probably talk. Excuse me. I probably talk about politics, probably every day, just because of the times we live in. And most people do like
hard not to talk about politics.
Yeah. So
that's good.
Yeah, some people do not like what I have to say.
You've got the Some people do not. You've got the enlightened centrist vibe. So
Yeah, and that's what I try and present myself as. But
yeah,
so
yeah,
this would be where your beliefs really come from, based on, like what planet you had in this. I keep using Mercury as an example, but if you had Mercury here, you
yeah.
would believe that talking to people, communicating, being diplomatic is a very important virtue. For example,
Ooh.
going
I do
into
not want to meet an ninth house Mars person.
yeah,
They
for
just
violence.
like you say hi, how are you?
Yeah.
You just like go to shake hand, like first time meeting them, you're just like, oh hey, you're so and so. Sorry about that. I'm ninth house Mars. You get it. But
Weapons are part of my religion.
Exactly. Have you? I saw the new Mandalorian episodes last night. I watched a few of them.
I'm gonna watch them very soon. So we move on to the 10th house, the house of enterprise.
Yes.
This is tied to Capricorn. I'm just trying to do it off this symbol. Yes, Capricorn.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting good at this.
Yeah, that's Capricorn.
So tied to Capricorn.
The goat fish.
Yeah. Regnum, the motto, if you can't tell by the root, is relating to kingdoms. This is largely about ambitions, motivations, your career, society, the government.
Society.
How
nice.
How your how the 4th house related to your mother, your 10th house relates to your father, which is interesting because my father is a Capricorn, so that's a double. It relates to authority, notoriety, and any advantages that you may have. So a lot of economists probably center around the 10th house. And let's see what I have in my 10th.
Yeah, I have Uranus, Pisces, 10th house. And so it says, it's in your 10th house, meaning that for you, this manifests in rebelling against dated expectations about goals, success, and responsibility. And I feel like that's true.
Yeah.
I feel like I can be pretty unorthodox sometimes.
Yeah. I feel like you definitely have a very good head on your shoulders for enterprising, talking about what assets you have, and figuring out a plan for how you can, do good, get bread, all that kind of stuff.
I always have a plan. It actually becomes a bit of a problem. Over the summer, I was over planning to the extent that I'd have a plan that would be like years long, but I would change it every week. And I'd be like, why do I have a plan that's years long if I'm just going to change it next week? It was the dumbest thing ever. I'm glad I've like sort of gotten over it. Now it's just general, like it's more vague now, which is the best thing. So that's what I would recommend. If you're an over planner, just try to make it more vague, because then you're still at least going in the direction you like, but you're not constantly just thinking about what I'm going to do and then never actually getting anything done. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything in my 10th house, which means that I will not ever find success. So anyways, on to the 11th. No, I think
the next one.
With me, I guess you could interpret that however. It might mean that I'm not going to find enterprise in the traditional way, which I think is true. Like, I'm a YouTuber. I'm going to write a book. Writing a book isn't really a traditional way to, like, writers have always kind of been looked down on. Max, you can speak to this as well. Because actually,
I can speak to this.
You are an author, whereas I'm a writer. Yeah. So there you go.
He's just a writer. He's a lowly writer. I'm an author. Exactly. You have not attained this level of, of epicness. But no, it's funny. It's like musicians, authors, like performers, generally.
Psychics,
artists, I guess artists in general, because author, performer, all that falls under art. Musicians,
exactly.
Artists, it's just because it's unreliable, which is why I'm not like, it's not my career goal to be an author. It's like my second thing, but I want to be like a physicist. But
there you go.
Like, you got to pick something a bit more sturdy. Physicist or finance person, which the same degree, a physics degree, will help you with both. So it's pretty fun. But yeah. So Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So going over to the 11th house, we have
Yep.
the House of Blessings. I forget who's in this painting. I think it's a biblical thing, but this is
Probably.
ruled by Aquarius, I think. Yes, Aquarius.
Looks like it.
The
water carrier.
Oh yeah. The slogan is
Oh, yeah.
Benefacta, which means support. This is benefits from effort. How much you get out of your how much you get out of your relationships, like your friends, your acquaintances, that have like-minded attitudes to you. How much you belong in a group, community, or association, how much you volunteer, your philanthropy, and it basically just how connected you are to general community, and it can be tied to your wealth, because you can call those your blessings.
Yeah.
Max,
So this is really interesting.
Your sun was in your 11th house, right?
Yeah, and Mercury. So I'll start with Mercury. So Mercury says it's in your 11th house, meaning you are curious about and inclined to analyze your friends, how to make an impact on people, and your political life. And then for Sun, it says it's in your 11th house, meaning you feel the need to distinguish yourself from others through social status, including platonic and casual friends, along with your hopes, wishes, and dreams. I do not try to, I don't know, shame people based on social status, so amongst my friends, so that's not entirely accurate.
Did you not just call me a lowly writer, Max?
That was sarcastic. That was...
He's like, no,
anyway,
it couldn't be.
No way. That was sarcastic.
Yeah. I don't think I
Anyway.
have anything in my 11th house.
You are not blessed.
I'm not blessed. In fact, I think I've hit all
You
my
are
houses. I don't have anything above 9th. So
okay.
I am down for the count. But
I've got 2 12s.
He's got
so,
2 12s. You're more
So we can talk about those.
You're more out there than I am. You have your you have diverse crops, whereas I have my cash crops. But anyways,
yeah, exactly.
So blessings, basically, this talks about your community, in your place in your community. So say you have Mars in your 11th house, then you are the aggressive or assertive one in your community, your friend group. Say you have your Jupiter, then you are the thinker of your friend group, all of that. So yeah, there you go. Lastly, but not leastly, the 12th house, the House of Sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
This is.
Oh, this is the.
What's the guy's name? David? No, not
I
David.
think it's.
Is it David?
I think it's Abraham. And like his son, and then some angels. It's like God says, "Kill your son," and then he's like, "Okay, I'll actually do it," and then God's like, "No, wait, I didn't actually."
Yeah,
mean you
Abraham needs to offer his son Isaac as a sacrifice, and then before he does it, God is like, "Ha ha."
Pranked ya.
So this is tied to Pisces.
Yeah, he put the video on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like
Joey
epic prank
Salads
video.
came out of a bush with a phone, and they're like, what the...
Yep.
But anyways.
What is that? Yeah.
I think a tree just fell down. But I'm going to get through this podcast, damn it.
He's gonna get through it. Is it a thunderstorm or?
Yeah. Oh, it's tough.
Like just a run-of-the-mill thunderstorm.
It's not a hurricane, but it's a very big
thunderstorm.
Okay. 12th house, motto Carcer, which means rehabilitation, and that's what makes this house very, very interesting. Because when you see House of Sacrifice, you're like, but this is. Let me tell you what this means.
Yeah.
It ties to privacy and refuge, seclusion, retreating, clandestinity, secrets, mystery, your intuition, your extremities, but also your addictions, your luck, how often you release things, your healing, and your peacefulness. So this largely deals with what do you have to sacrifice in order to be happier than you are, because this is largely based in the way of thinking that everyone holds on to certain things that hold them down. So this is the house that would tell you what do you need to let go of that is holding you down? What do you need to let go of that is hurting you? So I don't have anything in my 12th house. What do you have in your
Yeah,
12th
so
house?
it's Venus and Mars, which is a fascinating duo.
Wow.
So let's see what this says. They're like opposites, you know? So,
Exactly.
okay. So Venus, it's in your 12th house, meaning that for you, love is often expressed in privacy, secrets, and introspection.
It's also true.
And then for Mars, it says, where is it? It's in your 12th house, meaning you put a lot of energy into privacy, secrets, and introspection. I guess that's true.
Yeah.
It's sort of ironic because, you know, I have we're doing this big show, but I think of myself as an introvert usually.
Mhm.
I guess it's more I don't like big groups of people, but I like talking to individual friends, which is what they say about introverts.
Mhm.
And I spend a lot of time just to myself, like
Mhm.
writing and stuff. That's how I managed to get a book written. I feel like it's a lot harder for an extrovert
Yeah.
to get a book done, I would say. But yeah, being an introvert makes it like much easier to actually write a book. So
yeah.
yeah.
But
But
yeah,
yeah, that's the last
so
house.
yeah, and those are the two things to it. What you do in privacy versus what you have to sacrifice. So you can
Mhm.
tie it to again yourself. I do consider myself an extrovert. Probably why I don't have anything in the 12th house. I obviously do some stuff in secrets, but a lot of people have called me shameless in that I can sit down, in front of a camera and just literally
That's
detail every single poor decision that I've made ever, you know. But you gotta tie it to yourself. But anyways,
Yeah.
those are the 12 houses. We've already looked at our
Yep.
horoscopes, so we just went through them. You can see here.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about go to your daily horoscope.
Oh yeah, let's go to our daily ones right now.
Yeah. So I have mine pulled up if you wanna.
Yeah.
So if you
sure.
go to my slide, yeah, I have my horoscope pulled up for November 15th, 2020.
Here,
All right.
I made the world go dark.
He made the world go dark.
Did you throw anything into the actual slides, or?
Oh, well, it's just the I don't know, the natal chart, but here I could take a
just the natal chart.
screenshot.
Yeah, I was thinking you were gonna
I
put
could.
that in here. I will also.
Oh. Okay. So this is my November 15th. So this was today's horoscope.
Mhm.
I'll also read tomorrow's. How about I'll do today's and tomorrow's. So we can see what's up. What should I expect tomorrow? So let's start with today
Here,
and
okay,
see what I think about
I gotta
today's
take a
horoscope.
screenshot of this, and then I will let there be light.
Let there be light.
Okay, copy.
All right.
And I will throw this in here. And I will throw this in here. What? Oh, I'm still not signed in? Oh my god. Okay, hold on, let me do
Oh no, if you're not signed in, here, wait.
No,
Yeah,
it's cool.
I don't know
I just signed back in.
Okay,
It's
okay.
good. It's good.
Okay,
And the
So-
world is still dark, so they can't see my emails.
The world is still dark. Yes.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna read mine. All right. I'll read today's.
Yes. Okay. Here. Wait. Let me.
Okay.
Reinstate the world.
Sure. Reinstate the world.
And we are back.
All right. So, November 15th, 2020. Today, Taurus, don't be too surprised if you have difficulty getting into a work frame of mind. It's likely that you'd rather daydream than be in the real world. You're susceptible to daydreaming and taking imaginative trips. Consider making a list of everything that you need to do to help focus. This will help you meet your short-term objectives, and you can take it easy this evening. I guess I can take it easy this evening.
Take it easy. What are you doing here, man? What are you doing here?
What am I even doing here? I guess I consider the evening to start once this show ends, usually, even though it is completely dark out. But before daylight savings, it actually held true a bit more. But let's see. It's really fascinating because I feel like this horoscope has applied to like the past 3 days, except for today. Like I feel like today I actually managed to get some stuff done. Yesterday too, I guess. It's more like during the week. I was just like having trouble focusing, but yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, so then November 16th, 2020. Consider whether or not you're spending enough time with everyone who's special to you, Taurus. If more hours are going to work colleagues, friends, or partner, there might be an imbalance that you need to look at. Sit down and create a chart of where your time has gone lately. If one portion is considerably larger than the others, make a point of spending some time with the people represented by the smaller portions. That's very interesting because I always keep track of my times. Oh, I should have asked Shawn what she thought about that, about my productivity calendar, where I have down to 5 minute
creepy
time
ass
intervals.
calendar.
It's not creepy. It is not creepy.
It's so fucking creepy.
It's useful data, okay? Useful data.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I call it.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I guess it's a Virgo thing to do, right?
It is.
I don't know. Yeah. So I guess it makes sense with the moon sign. Yeah.
Anyways.
So
yeah,
I will think about people.
Here is mine.
Anyway. Yeah, let's read yours.
I just did the one for today. It's good to dream. Especially here, I'll do it in my narrator storybook.
All right.
Fairy tale narrator.
Let's hear
voice.
it.
It's good to dream, especially on days like today, Cancer. Expanding your mind and thinking of possibilities are positive ways to increase your knowledge. Give yourself time to think. Why not lie on your back and watch the clouds or stars? Let yourself dream.
That wouldn't be very
that may not seem practical or possible. Many real things have come out of someone's dreams. Your creativity will flourish if you take the time. There's
I will say to you right now,
is gonna come through my window
please
and impale
do
me.
not go outside. Please do not go outside and lay down in the rain and just look at the storm clouds thundering past.
I can't see the stars. I can't see the stars tonight. Branch done.
Yeah.
But I think it's I think it's interesting that it talked all about dreams. I know I was talking about dreams earlier. And again, I still would describe myself more than anything as a dreamer. In any project, I'm always like, how can we put some more sauce on this? How can we change this to make it better than it is?
Spice it up.
How can we spice it up? How can we improve this? And that I'm like, that is both a detriment and a boon, because there's the principle: don't break it, don't fix it if it ain't broken. Don't break it if it ain't fixed.
That's a fascinating. Don't break it. I gotta think about that one now.
It's interesting, yeah. But or here's another one: don't fix it if you didn't break it. But that's very selfish. So I don't hold myself to that.
Very selfish. Yeah.
I also
you break, I fix.
Yeah.
You know that? Have you ever seen a "You Break, I Fix" store?
No, I've not seen one of those.
You haven't?
No.
I see those, and it's spelled letter U, break, I fix.
Wow.
It's just a big store in the middle of town. It's like, you break, I fix. So.
It's run by Russians. You break, I fix.
Exactly.
There you go. But anyways, yeah, dreams, very important to me. So that brings us to our final thoughts. This has been a great episode, almost 3 hours.
Oh yeah, this was a long episode, but a really fun episode. It was fun to have my Aunt Shawn on the stream. Fun to have branching out. I think season 5, branching out into new topics, new kinds of guests. And I hope that you guys all liked it. Everyone who's currently watching, everyone who's watching this back later. I hope you enjoy it. And if you find astrology fascinating, maybe you want to do the natal chart and see what it says about you just for fun. If not, again, that's totally up to you. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I think it's fun. And yeah, what do you think about?
Yeah, I thought Shawn was a fantastic guest for the season. She definitely was very well versed and was able to speak about how this relates to a bunch of different scenarios. And I just think it's interesting because, like we said, I really do not differentiate this from a faith, because not just because of its credibility or incredibility, but because of you can use this to tailor your life, or you can tailor this to how your life is. You could use this as a as a guiding point to go through whatever you need to go through.
Yeah.
And
you can use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
You
And
can find a way to make it.
There were things that she was saying about other people that I know their astrological signs that really did line up, you know.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, I think that if you want to use this to dictate stuff, then by all means, go ahead. With this, I really think it's fascinating that and it's also really old. Like we were talking about the Babylonians and how they did all this, and it's been
I actually have a video. I have a video that's dropping like the day before Thanksgiving, or 2 days before or something, and it'll be all about the origin of astrology.
I was thinking of doing something about the Babylonians too.
Yeah.
We're on the same wavelength over here.
Exactly. I guess it's because we've both sort of got that like two elements and then it's opposite thing.
We are one way, but then we are balanced by our we are externally and internally balanced. Is what it is.
Exactly. I like that.
But and on that note, I think we can end it there. Thank you.
Exactly. I would like
watching.
Thank you, Sebastian, for being my co-host as always. Thank you for everyone in the chat. Let me